It is Tuesday, January 26th. The MCU has taken over this show, and we are running with it. We got a jam-packed episode today with the review of Thor and WandaVision Episode 3, plus our very first in-episode guest from a podcast that in part inspired this podcast. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes, a TV and film podcast and web series where we talk mostly superheroes, but also anything else worth watching. We review, we rate, we sometimes debate. I'm your host, Logan, joined by always PC Mike and the Giggler. PC Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's going to be a great show. It's a little different. I'm excited to see what our guest is going to bring today. So I'm ready to get it going, man.
Yeah, it's going to be like the first time we have anyone else involved, so I'm excited. Giggler, how you doing? What's new?
Sorry, I had to hug problems with unmuting, but I'm happy to be here.
You got some clicks coming in, like a machine gun. Sounds like you're...
Yeah. All right, I got it now. Sorry.
Great intro, Giggler. Great intro.
This is fixed. It's all downhill from here. But I'm excited. Let's do this.
Please, God, let us end these Zoom things. It's been great to do this, and now we get to bring in guests because of Zoom. But I can't wait to get you guys back in the studio, so we don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
I agree.
Good to see you, Giggler. Well, this week we do have our first ever in-episode guest. You know, it's not our first ever guest. We do a great segment we call Logan's Heroes. I have a feeling this guy will probably be on Logan's Heroes one day, but today he's joining us in episode to talk about all the great stuff today. He's the co-host of the Jock and Nerd podcast, one of the podcasts that inspired me to even create Mostly Superheroes. Ladies and gentlemen, Imran.
Hi, everybody. What's up? I'm honored to be your first in-episode guest, and I apologize in advance to your listeners. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited to show up and not have to do the work for once.
Isn't that the thing? Like, as a podcast host, you're like, oh, I just get to go to this one.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's like the same stuff we love geeking out about. So all of the passion, none of the tedious, shitty labor. Thank you, Logan, for providing me this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, man. Like I told you, you guys had me on your episode. I thought it was only natural to have you back on. I think we're going to have your other folks, Anthony and Rug Boy, hopefully on the show one day. They both expressed interest when we were with you.
You wrote a very nice email, and we were glad to have you, and you were a great guest. We had a lot of fun over at Jock and Nerd. I'm going to do this once.
Jock and Nerd!
There's the earworm. It's in your ear. Just remember that, listener. Now you won't be able to get it out of your head.
Yeah, that's pre-planned. That's like that. I said before the show, I was like, you got to bring in the Jock and Nerd podcast. I've listened to these guys for about 5 years. Why don't you tell people a little bit about your podcast, where they can find you?
Well, you can visit jockandnerd.com is our home base for our weekly geek show. It's kind of like you guys, Shock Jock Radio with the soundboard and a puppet. But we review geek news. We go over entertainment geek news. We review something every episode, and you get 3 different perspectives as the 3 of us have very different opinions and voices. And one of us is made out of felt. That's Rug Boy. So it's a lot of fun. It's just, we don't take it too seriously. We've been running it'll be 6 years in March. Unbelievably. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how we were able to put out a thing every week for 6 years. It's just I blacked out for most of it. So
I think sometimes I'm learning you have to. You got to just be like, hey, I'm doing this every week. So you just got to be like, I'm doing this every week.
It's kind of like a train, right? And that train leaves on schedule, and whatever happens at that time happens. You just go to stay on schedule.
Well, we are here for it. Definitely go check out the Jock and Nerd podcast. If anything else, go listen to the episode that covers Wonder Woman 1984, because that's the one I'm on. So just selfishly speaking, go listen to that.
Crossover.
Crossover, that's right.
Yeah.
And we're excited to have you. We have a lot to talk about. I know it's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys have been talking about lately. So I think you're primed and ready. Imran, happy to have you. With that, let's get into our first segment of the day.
Fan mail.
We always open up the show with fan mail because without you fans, there's nothing here happening. We just be talking to ourselves. We appreciate you. This week we feature some news from our new Mostly Superheroes Squad Facebook page. We have a new area for all you squad members to congregate. You can also go to mostlysuperheroes.com/squad. That's a password protected site. We're going to reveal the new password later in today's episode. If you listen to our live show on Instagram on Monday, we've already released it. We say it in these episodes, and we'll get it to you later today. We did a What You Watching this Sunday. That's when we do our What You Watching. And one of our comments is even from the Giggler, so we'll hold off. We'll let you share yours yourself, Giggler. But other folks in the group, we have Mike. He's watching football. He was still needing to get to watch the latest WandaVision. Shanna, she said, not today. We've been watching the new season of Search Party on HBO. Been seeing, that's the one I see on, the HBO Max dashboard a lot right now, every time I go there.
What is that one about? I'm not sure what it's about.
Giggler or PC Mike, have you guys seen this?
I was about to ask the same question. I'm intrigued, but I guess
So there's a party and they're looking for things.
Yeah. We'll
Can
see
I
how
also
this-
mention that me and PC Mike are wearing matching red hoodies? I like that.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
wearing
You guys
mine.
look like this is coordinated. And I got the red on, too. It's Mike's the black sheep, or Andy's the black sheep today.
I'll change. Don't worry.
Yeah, during the break.
Hey.
Come back in a red shirt.
Andy's shirt is pretty cool. That is my alma mater, so his shirt's pretty cool.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah. These guys are big Mizzou guys. They chant it on the show and everything. It's fine. All right. Well, I don't know this. I did see the trailer for Search Party, so it might be something we check out. It didn't grab me. It looked like it was about young people-ish, maybe in their 30s living in the city and kind of their lives, kind of drama, comedy type stuff. Maybe we'll check it out. But Shannon, we appreciate the thought and let us know what you think of the show. Keep writing us in and we'll tell you, maybe we'll check it out.
Here you go. First sentence. The disappearance of former college acquaintance Chantel leads several 20-somethings to get entangled in the mystery of how she went missing.
Wow.
There. Search party.
Oh,
In a
boy.
nutshell.
Imran's really, he's going for that PC Mike title today.
I needed to know what the show was about. It was killing me. I was like, this is going to bug me now.
Well, I'm
And
glad.
it's a dark comedy, Logan. I looked it up too. So not
That's what I found out.
yeah.
No, we appreciate that because if it was bugging you and it's bugging a listener, what's that show about?
What is it?
And then Scott said he was watching some football, and I was actually this was a good opportunity. Appreciate your comments in the squad. That's how easy it is to be featured on the show. I was hoping PC Mike Giggler give us an update on what's happening now with the NFL and the Super Bowl. Whoever wants to take that.
Well, I mean, I got my hoodie is actually the Chiefs hoodie
Oh,
that I've had since high school. So I still fit in it. That's a thing that I did not think was going to happen, but I still fit in it. But my Kansas City Chiefs, they won this weekend, beat the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to face Tom Brady again in the Super Bowl. And here's an interesting fact I heard yesterday. There have been 55 Super Bowls now. Tom Brady has been in 18% of them.
that's wild.
Wow. Oh, my God.
This is his 10th Super Bowl. It's crazy.
This
Look,
guy.
I'm the nerd on the podcast. I'm not the jock. But my question is, how are you going to let yourself get beat by a 43-year-old quarterback? Come on.
He's de-aging. I saw a picture. I saw something on Twitter yesterday, and it was his face throughout the years. And he's de-aging. And it was plastic surgery person talking he's got this done, but he's de-aging. He literally is.
He's made a deal with the devil like Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones. It's amazing.
Well, this will tell you where I land, Imran, on the jock or nerd side. Can you? What day when's the Super Bowl? Is it this Sunday or next Sunday?
Sometime in February. That's all I know.
2 weeks. Not this weekend, next weekend.
Well, I'll be watching. I always love the Super Bowl. We always do some kind of party or something. Obviously, this year is going to be different, but I'll definitely be watching.
It's
I
going to be
always
different.
I buy squares at work. It makes it a little more fun.
And it's going to be different this year. A lot of companies are foregoing the commercial route.
Right.
And
Yeah. I heard
donate-
Budweiser is out for the first time. There was no Budweiser commercial. or
Yeah,
something.
no Budweiser, no Pepsi, no Coke.
No
They're
people.
donating their what they would spend on commercials to Corona vaccine awareness type. things.
Wow. Wow. That's good because it seems a little bit of waste of money now to be spending, what is it like $30 million, $1 billion for 30 seconds, whatever it is. Like, everybody's hurting. You can't, this is the first thing that gets cut, obviously, is going to be your advertising budget.
Well, and it would
So,
also look weird for like everyone's in a pandemic. People are just trying to get like unemployment, and then Coca-Cola's like, we paid $200 million for this commercial.
yeah, you're gonna be like, I like to teach the world to sing when during a virus pandemic. What are you doing, Coca-Cola?
You got to think about Anheuser-Busch. They've sold so much beer during quarantine.
Oh yeah, they don't need anymore. We're good. We don't
They're
need to
running out of
advertise.
aluminum, but now they get to save money on advertising. It's a win-win for them, honestly.
I've been taking care of them on the Bush Light. I have been helping out.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if it was just nothing but commercials for Corona, the beer, during the Super Bowl?
We're back.
We're back.
Not
Get
this.
the hell out.
Not this year.
Corona's like, these commercials are like $30 now. Nobody wants them. Let's just buy them all out and try to fix our name. We had a rough year.
Well, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl, listeners, so make sure that you're watching. We'll let you know. Maybe we'll do something for it. Maybe we'll just do our take. We'll be talking about it at the very least. More to come. In terms of the Mostly Superhero Squad, that's on Facebook. Go check it out. It's free to join. You get cool exclusive content, early episodes. We do live shows in there. It's a lot of fun. So go over to the group. And with that,
Also, traditionally, huge comic book movie trailers during the Super Bowl. Everyone's anticipated, and now we're not going to get that. Probably not going to get that either.
well, we'll see. I mean, it seems like every big thing that happened this year, we did get like some trailers here. Like WandaVision was sneaking in there. Hopefully, we're going to start seeing some stuff for Falcon Winter Soldier. I bet we see one of those during the Super Bowl.
Black Widow is supposed to come out in like less than 2 months. I don't know what they're doing with that movie. Just put it out on Disney Plus. What are you doing?
Hey, while we're talking about releases, good segue. Let's get to our next section.
News and rumors.
So we do have some news and rumors about some release stuff. We're going to go down the line here. Definitely going to talk about some stuff that's coming out that got pushed back and it's moving around. But first up, have to highlight where this is a very MCU-heavy episode. Wanted to focus on some alternative stuff that I haven't really talked about in a while. I've mentioned before, I've watched the stuff on the CW for years. Andy, I know you have as well. I have been excited for the Superman and Lois show that's coming out. Well, they dropped the trailer, and it looks pretty legit. Starting with you, just since we have a guest today, guest should go first. Imran, do you watch the stuff on the CW? Do you watch this line of DC stuff?
I've watched many, many hours of Arrowverse shows over the years, starting, the original Arrow. I was kind of late to that, but when that started to get momentum and they started spinning off, we were all in. In the beginning of our podcast, we would review every episode of like 4 shows every week, right? And it was great. I have since really kind of just slowed down and kind of like, how you have friends that you just kind of drift apart. Just, Dory, it happens. It's nobody's fault. You still want to hang out, but you're doing this thing. I'm not really interested. I was watching The Flash. That was my last holdout every week. And then I even dropped that. And now, they're canceling shows. Black Lightning is ending. I was curious about the new Batwoman with the new cast, but I heard nobody even watched that. That got like the 3rd lowest rating of the Batwoman show. As far as this trailer, it's a good trailer. It's got vibes of like Man of Steel and stuff. And look, this is a Superman TV show. I should be super geeked about this. And honestly, I'm just like, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. Like, I've seen Tyler Hoechlin. He's a good Superman on Supergirl and in the crossovers. And I guess their kids are in this, right? And they're teenagers.
Yeah, they look like they're like older kids.
Yeah,
like high school.
Is that Jonathan Kent? And he's like,
well,
a teenager?
I didn't know if they were kids because I felt like there was a line in the trailer where one of the kids says to him, "Oh, you're Superman," but like maybe it was like his dad, and he's like, "You were," and like it seems like Superman has been away from the spotlight in this show, and it's kind of like he's having like an identity crisis maybe.
Yeah, Lana Lang is in it, and I do love that line where he's like, "Man, I wish I could get drunk sometimes."
Yeah,
because that's the fun kind of Superman stuff you always want to see that they never talk about.
He needs to figure that out. Like Thor figured that out in Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
he had a liquor that got him drunk. Like, come on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You just need some Kryptonian booze. Get Lobo to bring some hooch over from the next galaxy. I don't know.
That's perfect.
But I will. It's a 90-minute premiere. I think I'll check it out. I'll check out the opening. I will give it a chance. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
definitely
like Black
excited.
Lightning a lot.
I did too. I'm definitely excited. Superman is my guy. I've PC Mike knows this. We went to high school together, actually, PC Mike and I, and I've always been a Superman head. I'm super excited, but it's funny. As big of a fan I am, I'm also in that lukewarm feeling. I didn't watch Batwoman, and I've definitely fallen off from like Supergirl and stuff. Giggler, I know you've watched Arrowverse stuff. Are you excited for this?
Definitely. I think this might be able to be my door to get back into these shows.
Okay.
I definitely follow the Flash is one of the only ones that I really keep track on since Arrow was over. Arrow was one of my favorite shows ever.
That was the best one. Still is the best, kind of the best one out of all.
For sure. Definitely. That was such a great show. Huge Stephen Amell fan after that, for sure. Especially now that he's doing a wrestling show on HBO, I think, or maybe it's not HBO, Stars or Showtime, one of those. So I'm ready for that. But I think this show, the preview looked really good. I think it's definitely got my attention, but see what they can do from once it starts, and I'll tune in, probably check out the first season and kind of go from there.
Well, and you guys are both Batman heads. So PC Mike, looking at you, are you going to be excited for the Superman show?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like you guys. Like, I'll check it out, but my skirt's not blowing up for it. Like, but Logan, I have a question for you. Is this gonna replace Smallville in your heart?
Oh no, that's a
nope.
Absolutely not. Smallville is. I was thinking about this the other day. Smallville's definitely still one of my top 3 television shows. I'm getting ready to rewatch it with Carrie, my fiance. She's never seen it, and I know I'm just gonna love every minute of it. It's gonna be my 3rd or 4th time rewatching it. I think that I'm kind of with Andy too, though, that this could get me excited for CW stuff again, because if you start showing me crossovers with the Flash and I like Black Lightning too, and you kind of play into these things that you have set up in these crossovers. I have like an addiction to that, so I will probably catch back up on whatever's connected. That being said, we'll keep you posted on it. It sounds like we're all at least going to check it out, and we will be talking about it on this show.
Let me ask you guys this real quick.
Go ahead.
About this, because they canceled Supergirl. I think there's 1 season left. How much longer can these shows realistically keep going? I think it's close to, they killed Oliver was 8 years. He's playing, Green Arrow. They killed it. Flash is approaching 7 years. How much longer is this going to work for CW?
I don't is this Warner Brothers still that we're talking about? Who is paying for all this? Like, there's so many shows.
Yeah, it would be Warner Brothers. They own all of it. But all of us just said, it looks all right. We might check it out. Who's watching these shows still?
I kind of feel like HBO has kind of muddled the water for me watching like Titans and Patrol, because it's PG-13 to R. Like, that's kind of that genre that I like now, and they can show more stuff.
Absolutely.
I can see on the CW on my cable TV. I can watch HBO and get like the nitty gritty and like the dark gritty stuff that I want to see, and not Lois and Clark 2.0 basically from the 90s.
Also, the seasons are 24 episodes. That's a lot of things to fill in there. And now we're getting used to 8 to 10 episodes of tight writing, tight storytelling. These seasons, there's half of it is filler episodes, because how are you going to fill up 24
it's always been that way in the CW. It's always been like what you take with watching a show like this. You know that this is going to be the episode where you learn about the sidekick and like where they grew up.
Villain of the week or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. But, here's something I'm not going to forget about, and I hope that WB hears this one day, or if you're listening right now, listen to this. I'm not going to forget that you showed us crossovers during Crisis on Infinite Earths with Doom Patrol, Titan. Yeah. You brought Barry Allen from The Flash in the movies onto the TV screen with Barry Allen from the CW.
That was amazing.
I'm not going to forget about this. Like, if people think that I'm just going to be like, hey, you can't just show us something like that and be like, we're not going to do anything, because it almost feels like no one's even addressed that since it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. Those are amazing. Those are fun.
Those are a blast. I look forward to that every Christmas. It's like, oh, we got a week of DC crossover. All right, moving over to movie theater land. I mean, there was more news on this since I've made our run of show today. Godzilla and Kong was announced that it got moved up in the schedule to come out in theaters earlier. It's also going to be on HBO Max, which, that's exciting. Now I saw, Imran, I saw you share it. It was on your group that they've now pushed it back 1 week.
I don't know what's going on. This is
5 days?
No, more like back to May. So this movie is supposed to come out in November of last year. It got pushed to the end of May, and then we said on the thing they moved it up 2 months to March 26th, and today they have now pushed it back to May 31st. It will still release internationally March 26th. So there's going to be spoilers and pirated copies you could get. That's all that means.
Oh my gosh.
The minute that comes out. But then HBO Max May 31st, and I don't know if it's so. This trailer came out, it got a lot of buzz. I don't, and other movies have pushed back out of April, and May is probably going to clear out. That's why I'm still like, Disney's not budging on Black Widow. So I don't know if they moved it back to work on the movie, but it should be done because it was supposed to be done in November, or they think more theaters will be open at the end of May in the USA.
Well, either way, the trailer did come out. Like you said, this looked like a movie that's made. You know what I mean? So like,
it's got to be done.
PC Mike, are you a Godzilla Kong fan? Like, did this get you excited at all? What, like, is there a part of you that was like, yes or no?
I actually have a funny story about this. One of my buddies' young kids is very excited for it. So he's actually going to have a party for Godzilla and Kong. So we're all going to have an adult party as well, but it's going to be centered around Godzilla Kong. But yeah, I was reading some today and talking back and forth with my friends, like, what side are you on? And I was reading like that Kong shouldn't be that big, but he's grown. I kind of read about today, like when Kong Skull Island came out, it was 50 years ago. So he's grown since then to be about, but Godzilla's like height and weight. He's like 400 feet tall.
Yes, he is. And now Kong is too, apparently. Yeah. And Skull Island, he was not this big. And now he's almost taller.
I think I read in Skull Island, he's like just over 100 feet.
Yeah. So it was baby Godzilla. This is middle-aged Godzilla. I don't know, or King Kong.
Well, like whenever I picture King Kong, I always picture King Kong climbing the Empire State Building, and like and you can have that frame of reference. And Godzilla to me was like almost as tall as the Empire State Building.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the size is a little wonky. We'll see how they address it exactly. But like the shot in the trailer where he's touching the little girl's finger, and his finger is just this giant boulder. Like the scale, the sense of, and he punches Godzilla in the face. Come on, how are you not gonna want to watch this movie?
And he also like is holding something and like brings the fire breath back down and like slams him, almost like a wrestling move.
It's an axe. It's like a Stormbreaker axe, but the axe is made out of Godzilla spikes.
Hope he aims for the head. I mean,
make sure he aims for the head. But the trailer looks amazing.
Yes.
But you know, the trailer for Kong King of Monsters also looked pretty good, and the movie was not did not live up to it mostly.
Giggler, do you have any thoughts on Godzilla and versus Kong, and who would you pick to win outside of your opinion?
I'm gonna go with Godzilla for sure winning, but I also have never seen a movie with either of these characters in my whole life, minus that new King Kong movie that came out. That
the Peter Jackson.
Yeah. That's the only one I've seen. Not a big fan of this type of movie, but this trailer definitely seems intriguing. I'm not sure if it's actually intriguing or just because of the lack of like movies that we've been able to see like in the past year or so that I'm just excited to have something to watch. But I'm sure we'll talk about it and give it an honest rating at that time, and I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, we absolutely will. I'm excited for this. I think that just to see two monsters this size fight, and with the way they can make movies nowadays, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna talk about it. So,
Andy, you didn't see Godzilla 1998?
No, I don't know how. I remember it being like super, like it was advertised a lot, maybe like Taco Bell or something like that. Even it was
everywhere. And look, this movie's gonna be better than that. We know that much.
Oh, right. That's sure. I just never saw that one.
I've seen I think all the ones that have come out in the last 15 years. I've definitely seen them. I definitely remember like the most iconic Godzilla. Yeah, the like the lizard looking one from whatever that was.
Yeah. HBO Max has a bunch of the old school ones, and Anthony and Rugboy are the big Godzilla fans. They kind of got me into it. But man, some of the old 70s and 60s ones are hilarious to watch.
I bet. Yeah, like I remember I saw some some pictures from the older ones with like they had like an octopus involved in the making of one of them.
There's a live octopus in the Kong versus Godzilla, where Kong gets top billing in 1962 version.
Well, we'll keep you posted on it, listener. Let us know what you think. Are you excited for it? And who do you have for your pick? Last up for news and rumors today, there's a new streaming service coming out. I mean, this is kind of a I don't have no, I almost have like zero feeling about it. I'm not excited about it, but it's Paramount Plus. It's
Yay.
replacing CBS All Access. I've only tapped into CBS All Access 2 times in my life. I wanted to watch what's the not key he redid the Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone.
Yes,
yeah.
Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. And I love it. I'm glad. And then it was like, okay, I get done with it. I cancel my subscription type thing.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be like 30,000 titles we see. I know you guys talked about it, Imran, on your guys' show. Andy, have you heard about this? Is there any titles in here that's like that we're even aware of that we want to get to?
I'm not sure what this is.
It's literally a new streaming service from Paramount, and they just put a plus after it, just like Disney did. PC Mike, have you heard anything? Are you is this guy catch your eye? Is it kind of like that lukewarm feeling as well?
Literally, the first time I heard about it is when you sent over the slides today. I saw it on the
It's
slide.
Viacom, guys. All the Viacom CBS content from MTV, BET, Comedy Central,
Oh.
VH1, and Star Trek. The new Star Trek shows.
Discovery, that new
Discovery and the cartoon, and they're gonna make more. will be
Picard.
on here.
Isn't Picard
Yeah,
on there?
Picard is on there, and I haven't seen any of those. I don't have this. I'm kind of the one thing I hate is the unoriginality in names nowadays. Like nobody's trying anymore. First of all, Peacock is the worst and funniest name you could ever do. HBO Max also very misleading and confusing, and it sounds like it's from the 80s. And then they just put plus over everything and call it a day. Really? Nobody's putting any thought into these names.
Well, and that, and just I don't know if I possibly could have the time to watch even one more thing.
No, there's too many. You can't pay for all these things. I can't keep up with the 17 million I pay for now.
But Logan, there is a new stream. I don't think it's on here, but there is more streaming news that I think we forgot to talk about. Peacock recently just bought the WWE network for $1 billion.
I saw that. For how much? $1 billion?
Billion with a B.
What?
For 5 years. They only get it for 5 years. and
It's
they
a
bought it
$1
for-
billion 5-year lease.
Wow.
What does that
Vince
even
McMahon
mean?
got
Walk
paid
us through
out.
this. So they're gonna take on the WWE everything, just like everything they got. I mean,
Yeah. So what I've read, kind of look at it like, if you know how HBO Max is set up with like the categories like DC and all that, I'm assuming that's what Peacock's going to do, because WWE Network is getting absorbed into Peacock. So you can pick, do you want NBC, Peacock, or do you want WWE Network? But they get everything. They get every old WWF, WWE, WCW, NWA pay-per-view. They get the big ones. So WrestleMania, I believe this year, is going to be on Peacock. So they get all the new pay-per-views. They get everything for 5 years, basically buying it for 5 years for $1 billion.
do you know if have you read how this is gonna affect you, like as a fan? Like, it's just gonna be like a barrier of entry? You have to pay for this, or?
Actually, I think it's going to help the fans, because WWE Network right now is $9.99 a month. And I think to buy Peacock, it's $4.99 a month. And now you're getting double the content. So you're basically getting Peacock and WWE Network for $5 a month instead of 10.
Yeah, Peacock has a free tier, and then like a little bit premium tier, and then a more premium tier. So Mike, you have the WWE Network. I've heard good things of, fans love this platform, and I looked up the numbers. Here's what they're paying: $1 billion for just 1.5 million subscribers. That's compared to like Disney Plus has got 86 million. Netflix just hit 200 million subscribers and went up last year.
My God. Yeah.
So
it was like went up 30 something million.
37 million people in the pandemic signed up. New people signed up for Netflix.
That many people doing anything in 1 year is such a crazy thing to believe.
Right? That's huge numbers.
Well, Netflix.
But I think the big thing is with WWE and NBC Universal, they've had a relationship for decades. And I think this is just maybe going to
make sense.
If he has the money, maybe just pull those people. And I don't know. It's $1 billion with a B. So
it's amazing.
I'm confused because WWE airs on, like SmackDown on Fridays airs on Fox, which is not related to NBC. So how does that work? But
Whoa.
I'm
I
excited.
think don't quote me, but I read they have like somehow like $3 billion different deals sitting out there right now.
I'm sure. I'm
My
sure.
God.
Vince
Gosh.
McMahon can literally do anything he
Does
wants.
he need any more money? Come on. What do you do? Why are you giving this man more money? He's going to run for president 4 years. You guys be
Oh,
careful
no.
with this money.
Hopefully we learned our lesson with that kind of stuff.
He'd be a step
Donald
up, though.
Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
He
so.
is. Technically, he is
That's
in
right.
canon.
And hopefully they don't take that away, like those fake, those things he got from the colleges, the fake honorary awards,
Oh, right,
diplomas,
yeah.
the diplomas. They said, they're not even real, but we're still going to take them away.
We're going to take away this fake thing we gave you. It's amazing.
Well, we will keep you posted. There's a lot of streaming services out there at this point. Like Amron said, it's a little saturated, but the barrier to entry is very low. You can get access to a lot of stuff that you maybe have watched. It's just figuring out who owns what and where do you get it. I think it's pretty much thinking about what show do you think you want to watch right now, and then you got to look up where does it live.
Like, who owns this? What company studio? Do I pay for this thing? Oh my God, I
Yes.
can't figure it out. Although I love my Comcast because you could just talk to the remote and it'll, wherever it is, it'll be like, here you go, watch it here.
Yeah, that's my favorite feature of the Apple TV is just like, show me this.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep you posted, folks. Let us know if you have any interest in Paramount. Plus, we'd love to hear more about what's happening on it, if it's worth anything watching. But with that, let's get into our next section.
What you watching?
What you watching? That's where we talk about what we're watching week by week. I got a big one today, and we're going to talk all about Thor, and we'll save that one for the last. Going with our guest. First, Imran, we always share one thing that we're watching just kind of in this week, something that you want to share. It can be good, bad, whatever. What you got?
Okay, so the problem with me and things like this is I am watching several things and I have several. Let me vote. I'm going to give you 3 options. Do you want to hear about an underrated network comedy, a science fiction show based on a comic book, or a YouTube channel that just brings joy every time?
Well, the third one you said joy, and my number 2 choice would be the sci-fi.
Mike Kigler, what are your votes? Everyone vote.
I'm
Let's
going
go
to
joy. Something new. We don't really do YouTube channels on here.
Yeah.
so that
Okay. And look, it's tough times. You want to make people happy. This guy, look up Harry Mack on YouTube. He is a freestyle rapper. I've been watching this guy since pre-pandemic. He lives in Los Angeles. He would walk around Venice Beach. Someone would film me, had a little boombox, and he'd just go up to random people, be like, hey, give me 3 words. I'm going to do a freestyle about it. And they would give him 3 words, and this dude performs a magic trick. He is so good. I have never seen anyone freestyle off the top of their head like this guy. So now during the pandemic, what he does, there's a service called Omegle. It's a video chat thing. You sign on and it's like chat roulette. You get a random person. So he's doing the same thing on Omegle. He'll ask people for 3 words and he'll rap about what's in the background. This guy, and he makes people smile. You can't help but be amazed that, like, how does your brain work so quickly? He not only does he incorporate the words, he will elaborate on words. Sometimes he'll take the 3 words, he writes a hook with the 3 words, and then improvs each verse about each word and just goes it is the most amazing thing. You will be smiling, and some of them make you cry. Harry Mack on YouTube, the dopest freestyle dude out there right now.
Well, that's a hell of a what you watching. I mean, the enthusiasm you bring to it and the fact that it does bring you so much joy. I'm going to be looking this thing up right when we're done.
You'll be lost for hours. It's so good. You're like, how does he do that? It's like you're watching. It's like a WandaVision magic trick from Marvel he's doing.
And my fiance, she loves rap music, rappers. She's big on, like, who can come up with the coolest lyrics. This guy sounds like a genius.
She would love him, and you can like get on. I want to get on Omegle just to get him to do one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. What's that called?
It's Omegle. I didn't know about it. I only knew about it for Harry Mack, Omegle, and a lot of kids are on it, and they're spending a lot of their time, and it's just random video chat. You just talk to the person. But the best part about those Omegle videos are the reactions from the people when he's spitting these rhymes. They're like, oh my, like their minds are blown. You see it. So it's so much fun to watch the people's reactions just as it is to watch him improv off his head and just make up these amazing rhymes with good music behind it too.
Very cool. Well, I'll be checking it out. I can tell by Andy and Mike's faces. You guys haven't heard of this yet, right? No.
No, I'm down though.
Check
I
it
love
out.
that.
Yeah, Andy's recommended some like rap videos to me before about who's that one guy you were telling us about? I was at your house that one day several months back, and there's this rapper that you were legit talking about. Do you remember?
Eminem.
I can't remember now. I totally cannot remember. It's probably wasn't it Big Booty Mixes?
That sounds right.
Big booty mixes.
Yeah, I think it was Big Booty Mixes.
I want to hear this.
It's not rap. It's like they do like hour-long like mashups of like popular songs of all ages, and then like they'll throw in like pop culture like sound clips here and there.
Fun.
It's really good.
I like that. I love anything mashup world is always fun. Giggler, well, thanks, Emron. We'll be sure to check that one out. Giggler, how about you? What are you watching this week?
We watched the Night Stalker documentary on Netflix this weekend. That was very, very good. If I lived in this time period or anywhere near where this was happening, I would be staying up all night, just scared to death.
This dude is out there right now.
Yeah. Mike used to watch it last week. I think he talked about it, and yeah, we finished it on Saturday and Sunday, and like I really, it's just scary that there could be people that just demented.
Can you give it a rating?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give it like you said, documentaries are hard to rate.
Yeah, you got to take out. I always say you got to take out like that rewatchability factor that we normally do because you're not really typically rewatching documentaries.
No, I liked how it was put together. I'd give it like a 3.2 for sure.
Solid.
I would recommend to anybody. I didn't know anything about this serial killer, but it like as it progressed, I was just like, I really hope this guy lived or like had a terrible death, and you'll find out at the end what happened, but I won't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, and like you said, Mike's seen it. I think Imran was nodding a lot. It sounds like you've seen it.
I want to check. No, I want to check it out. I saw that, and I love shit like that. I'm all about the serial killer documentaries. I mean, true crime is huge for a reason. It's annoying in the podcast world because you could put out a horrible true crime podcast, get 1 million downloads. It's not fair.
But there's a lot of good ones out there too, like Small Town Forgotten. You can go check that out.
Oh, you do what? Like yours is good.
No, I don't. I'm not the host though. I'm literally I'm on their team. I do their distribution, but I know exactly what you're saying. There is such a there's actually hard data on this. Out of all the podcasts out there in the world, it's first of all, I think like something like 40% or something is mostly true crime. So there's already a lot of them.
Wow.
But also, like if you look at the listenership of all podcasts of all time, it is very high in the true crime thing. So it's like people are generally just interested in that. We have an addiction to it to where it's hey, I want to hear about this thing. But I will say, Small Town Forgotten, high quality, well produced. I think you would like it.
I like true crime podcasts when they're done well. Obviously,
yes.
You know, some of the stories are great, but it's like not a new thing. I liked it the first time I saw it. It was called Unsolved Mysteries. Like it's Dateline. Come on, it's on every week. You know?
Yeah, Dateline's like we've always been doing this.
Yes.
PC Mike, what are you watching?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been really bad this week of not watching any like content related. I've been sports mode this week. With Sunday was all NFL. Andy's got his Mizzou stuff on. I've been watching Mizzou basketball, and then just kind of watching that mindless kind of crap on TV like Dr. Pimple Popper and stuff like that.
Oh hell yeah, that show's great.
I haven't really had anything new, but I am excited for this Friday. I'll preview something instead of what am I watching. What I'll watch in the future, The Little Things with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Leto, Remy Malek. I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for that one this weekend.
Anytime you can incorporate what's coming up for these guys listening and watching, I'm sure they appreciate it. Because now it's like, you know what? Now that's on my list. I would love to watch it. We can break it open on the show.
Yeah,
that's a big release this week too. It's coming out in theaters and HBO Max premiere. So now, you know, they announced everything's coming out, and now stuff's starting to roll out, except Godzilla vs. Kong, and they push it back again.
Yeah, 1 week.
Still, no, like 2 months back.
What? I thought it was a week. I thought it said
May 31st.
Oh my god!
You know what? Their dates all over the place. I saw 3 different dates. It'll come out, and they'll let us know when it comes out.
Yeah, whenever it's out, we'll watch it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up what you watch and talking about Thor. We're going to quickly go through the story, give it a rating, have a little roundtable about it before we get to the meat of the episode, talking about WandaVision episode 3. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
What you watching?
Welcome back from the break. We're still on What You Watching. We're here with Imran, PC Mike, the Giggler. We're having a lot of fun. And today we're talking about a lot of MCU. We said it was an MCU heavy episode. It's going to be an MCU heavy year. If you're not here for the MCU, this might not be the podcast because it's going to be a lot of the content that we're doing. And here's what we're doing. We're actually rewatching some of the old stuff. I say the old stuff, from the Infinity Saga, Phase 1, 2, and 3, while we watch the very beginnings of Phase 4. And I put a lot of thought into this because, I try not to cram these episodes too much when I can prevent it. So it was like, can I revisit these another time, do it another way? The reason I do it like this is because I'm starting to see some really cool parallels between an early phase Marvel project as I'm watching like their new stuff, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely.
You're starting to see the formula that went into this, the backtracking, and it's also helping me really feel grounded with some of these characters that we see on these screens that you might not remember, like what exactly happened with Wanda throughout all of the MCU, what exactly happened with Vision, and now we have to start wondering what's going to happen with Darcy, who's from the Thor films.
Yeah.
Kat Dennings, she's in this show. And so today we're featuring her first film in the MCU. We're talking about Thor, and we're going to break it down. Going to give the story pretty quickly, like we did Iron Man 2 last week. I got my notes here. We're going to try to keep it tight to where we're not going on too many tangents, but are certainly going to hear from all four of us our thoughts on the movie as we go along. Are you guys ready to talk about Thor?
Thor, I am. Sorry, that's bad.
Yep. I tried.
Oh, you tried. You went for it. You went. Hey, you went Thor it.
Well, there you go. That's a little bit better. So Thor after my workout today.
We welcome the puns on this show. Welcome in wherever you can. All right, opening up Thor. Where does this fall? We are talking 2011 film. I always like to highlight we got the budget, $150 million to make it, and it made $449.3 million. That's from IMDb. Quick recap if you don't remember exactly what the film's about. The powerful but arrogant god Thor is cast out of Asgard to live amongst the humans in Midgard, a.k.a. Earth, where he soon becomes one of their defenders. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ashley Miller wrote the screenplay. Zach Stentz also wrote the screenplay. Stars Chris Hemsworth, of course. Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Natalie Portman as the fantastic Jane. And this is coming off Iron Man 2. We just reviewed it. We just talked about the movie. We'll always kind of tell you where this falls in the lineup. And this was our first introduction to the character. It was a very big movie that was teased out very much so all throughout Iron Man 2 with things that are happening in the Southwest. Phil Coulson and Director Fury are just talking about there's something happening in the Southwest, Tony. Don't worry about it. This is what they were talking about. It's the end credit scene of the movie, Iron Man 2. It's not where it picks up, though. The movie actually opens up introducing us to the three scientists. Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, Dr. Selvig, and Darcy Lewis, who's played by Kat Dennings. You might recognize Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls, but if you're like us, you recognize her as Darcy from Thor. She's also in Thor: The Dark World. She's going to be in WandaVision. It's kind of cool to see where does this character start? What could she maybe be doing in the WandaVision storyline? And it opens with them in the desert chasing down an atmospheric anomaly, and they find who we all know, the audience, as Thor in the desert, on the ground, middle of nowhere. And she says it, "Where did you come from?" And this is where it gets exciting, folks. We go from the world of Iron Man, the world of Iron Man 2. Okay, amazing people live on Earth. They can make things like this Iron Man suit. Now we're going outside of the cosmos, and we're going to other realms, other planets. And the MCU, once again, is saying, we are going to do this, and we're going to do it right. Imran, do you remember when this movie came out? Were you just beyond jacked? Is it one of your favorite MCU films? Where's this one falling?
It's not going to be in the top or middle tier. It's like a middle to third tier, but notable for, first of all, they're getting Kenneth Branagh to direct a Thor movie. I remember hearing, I'm like, are you kidding? Like Shakespeare. And then you have Anthony Hopkins, an incredible class. I think it's the introduction to Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and to see where he started, how they really didn't know what to do with Thor for like 3 movies, right? They was very serious, and you look at him at Thor Ragnarok, and he's like in a Three Stooges short sometimes. So they started out very serious, but yes, the Jane Foster and the Kat Dennings, and the idea, again, Marvel did this throughout with they're trying to explain everything with science. They're trying to explain Asgardian magic. They try to explain Doctor Strange magic, try to keep it grounded, but then it's also magic, but beautiful to see the Bifrost and Asgard and Heimdall and all these characters. So it's a solid start for this character taken seriously. I'm old enough. The last time I saw Thor on screen, it was in that crappy 70s Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno, and Thor was wearing like a fur coat and a thing with horn. He didn't even look like Thor. They did the Daredevil. It was all black. Those movies were great and horrible, and I love them still. But that was my Thor, so I was happy to get this Thor.
Yeah, this one, the MCU, of course, Marvel Studios didn't let you down. It looked and felt amazing. So Asgard, being Asgard, we do meet some characters from there that going to set up the storyline and the arc of Thor. And I'll tell you, after rewatching this and after we just watched Avengers Endgame recently, I'm telling you, this arc from beginning to end is there. There's no question. This is a lot like Iron Man 2. This is a story about Ego, a young Thor who doesn't really know that much and is about to be king. But that all gets messed up whenever the Frost Giants, who we find out are like kind of the arch nemesis of these guys, attack Asgard. They ruin the ceremony, and Thor makes a big mistake. He goes against his father's wishes, and he goes attacks these folks. This will be his demise in the end, thinking that he knows best. He doesn't know what his father knows best, and he's going to get banned to Earth. And this is the movie that we're getting. A Thor. This is what I thought was interesting. A Thor. This is the only time we see Thor without his powers. Like, I don't think there's ever other movie wherever like you're seeing kind of like this Thor that isn't like almighty. He's kind of indestructible. We have found out.
Yeah. It's a nod to the original Thor, who was Donald Blake. He was a doctor, and he would slam his staff down and just transform to a whole different person. So they had a couple of nods to that, in the thing. But I was wondering when I saw this, will they do that? They do not do that, because Hemsworth is too hunky to make him look like something else.
And I guess they also were just like, well, we'll just let him be Thor. He'll just be Thor.
Yeah. It's funny because they didn't realize how funny Chris Hemsworth is. Like, he has amazing comedic timing that we don't see for many, many years.
Even Imran, I think I'm with you because, like, just watching Endgame, even the last scene when they're going back and forth, like, who's the leader of the ship?
It's like, who's in charge? You are, of course.
And then they're like, why don't you battle with knives? And they're like, ooh, knives. Drax like, yes, knives. Like, that stuff's gold. Yeah. And then I see this, I'm like, I like funny Thor. I like drunk funny Thor better.
Fat Thor is great. Drunk Thor is great. No, I mean, and I think Taika Waititi helped really pull that out of him and nail what this Thor is. And he's great when he's serious, but he's also really funny when he's funny.
Well, Andy, I saw you have some thoughts on this movie. One of our biggest MCU fans on the show. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I for sure. It is crazy to see like where Thor has evolved from this movie. I remember didn't really know anything about him. Thought he was kind of on the lower tier of like cool characters of in the MCU that I kind of didn't really know a lot about. But this movie shed light on how kind of cool that character is, what he can bring to the screen, and it definitely didn't disappoint. But yeah, I'd put this in like the middle of my rankings. Like we always say like the MCU has all good movies. So it's a great origin story, but I think it's not even close to where he's at now. When we won't talk about the Dark World, that's definitely going to go near the bottom. But
we're going to talk about it. You can tell us how much you hate it, but I'll tell you something. I know what you guys are saying, and Thor gets a lot of flack. So does Thor 2. But I'll say something that held true for me was I was thinking the whole time. He's never really I don't think he's ever been to Earth, or if he did, he never had spent time there like he did when he was the Avengers. So he really did talk like those people in Asgard do talk like Shakespeare, So, and now, did it come off like kind of boring a little bit? But watching it as a MCU seasoned fan, I watched it and I was like, this is exactly who this person would be at this point in time.
It's a solid origin. And my problem when, before the MCU came out and we had the Batmans and the Spider-Mans and the origin movie, I love them, but I was always like, I want to get past the origin because I know how many times you're going to see Batman's parents get killed. We get it. Just drop us into him being Batman. So you got to get past the setup, and the setup sometimes can be a lot of exposition, a little tedious. But then once you laid that down, and Marvel was always smart at laying other things down in these origin movies. I mean, you want to talk about connection? Paul Bettany started as a voice of a glitchy thing in the very first Iron Man. Look where he is now. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing also because of like how cool like Jarvis was, and then you're like, oh, Vision's cool, and then you're like, oh, Vision sucks for 2 movies, and now he's in WandaVision. It's like, what a journey.
Yeah. It's great.
I think he's going to redeem himself big time. I think it's leading to a big finale, and I can't wait to talk about WandaVision with you guys. But focusing on Thor, I do have some fan mail to feature. It's on the Bifrost, okay? This is going to be cool because this is actually making things about the movie that they talk about in real life with real science. It comes at us from our friend Nick. PC Mike, you know this, Nick. We went to high school with him. I won't say his last name, but he's Nick C. And he loves aliens. He loves science. He goes down wormholes, literally and figuratively. So he actually mentions us. He texted me this. He said, well, hopefully you know what a light hole is, first of all.
Light hole?
I did, and I didn't. And he said, well, theoretically, in our science, it's the output of a black hole. That's like where everything of the black hole is spit out. Okay.
The other side. Okay.
On the other side. And then he says light, galaxies, planets. Now it's the smallest particles imaginable because it was crushed in a black hole, but it comes out as this light on this other side. Okay. So he says basically the theory is Asgard is at the very center point of their universe, which happens to be on the flip side of a dark hole. They're harnessing that energy, which is the next phase of life intelligence, and explains that the Bifrost energy and all that for them to drop into a 3-second zoom, like to Earth. They can take the energy of this black hole, harness it, and that's how they're using it. And he says there's like real science behind like how some of this stuff would work, which they do highlight in the movie with Dr. Selvig and Jane. So I don't know if you guys are a big space or science nerd like Nick, but pretty cool thoughts. I thought we'd share it with the group. Did you guys like that part of the story? I thought it was cool how they tried to explain it with science because it is kind of whimsical, and it could you could get lost in that if you don't ground us.
Okay, I have one question. What time was that text exchange where you guys were talking about all of that?
I think it was like I think it was late. I think it was a late night text.
Okay, that's all I needed.
I mean, it kind of explains when you see the 9 realms in the second movie how they can connect through there. Like I love the 9 realms and just that concept.
And with the journal, her journal, and they're like, and he's like, "See, you were right." That was a really cool scene where he's like, "You're right. You shouldn't stop studying this."
Yeah. I love when they try to explain stuff with science. It's fascinating.
Well, Nick, thanks for the fan mail. I appreciate the thought. Anytime you got that nerdy stuff, we'll probably have Nick on here at one point or another. He's a good guy, and that's pretty funny. So they call it an Einstein-Rosen bridge in the movie, or a wormhole.
That's a thing too, right?
That's a thing. That's like a thing, and that's what Nick was saying. You know, he's like, that's where I like kind of listened to them talking about it. Looked at Nick's text. I was like, he's kind of on the same path here. This might be, maybe one day. I guess is the theory.
Like Star Trek transporters, you think about the same kind of thing. Maybe they're harnessing similar energies,
and it looks the same kind of how they do it in Star Trek. It's like that phasing kind of look.
Yeah.
We get some fun stuff in this. We get Thor's team versus the Ice Giants. A big fight scene early on. We already talked about Thor getting banished. One of the funnier parts of the film, Jane hits Thor with her car again in the parking lot. I like it's the timing. That could be a joke that doesn't really hit that well. It does. It's funny. We get some fun stuff with the hammer. You get a Stan Lee cameo trying to pull that thing out of the desert. That was really fun.
Oh, right.
We get S.H.I.E.L.D. in this movie again, and this time we're going to get it in a big capacity. So in Iron Man, we got like Phil Coulson, you got Nick Fury, you did meet Natasha Romanoff. Now you're going to see like the big S.H.I.E.L.D., okay? Mm-hmm. They build a city basically around the hammer, and you got Agent Coulson there kind of seeing it, and they basically steal Jane's work. I don't know if you guys remember this part of the movie. Rewatching it, I was like, this is really messed up. Like they are literally saying like, all right, we're going to take everything, all your life's work. You can't look at it anymore. I'm hoping that this was like foreshadowing of like Hydra being infiltrated in S.H.I.E.L.D. Otherwise, like S.H.I.E.L.D.'s just like a dick company and they need to figure out their stuff.
Government pulls that shit all the time. Come on. They're like, no, don't study this and give me your computer.
Yeah. It was very, I guess, realistic of what the government would do. But I was like, man, I thought these S.H.I.E.L.D. guys were good guys because they're like teamed up with the Avengers,
Yeah, it's early S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson's still alive.
Yeah, man. Agent Coulson. Oh, man. Love that character. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. I don't know if you've ever watched that one.
I love that show, even though Coulson literally dies like 7 times during the goddamn run of that show. He dies and comes back to life so many times. You're like, all right, what's going on?
Every time, all the way through the end. I mean, no
Yeah,
spoiler
everything's-
alert. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just
whatever. It's done.
It is done. It's been done. Some other big stuff in the film. We do meet Loki, like Imran said. So this is gonna be like you're gonna see Loki's arc from very quickly being like this kind of cool brother to being full on bad guy, literally trying to kill his brother, sending the destroyer down to Earth to do it. He knocks out his dad, says like he lies and says to Thor on Earth whenever Thor tries to get his hammer from this shield base. Loki visits him and says to his face, "You killed Dad because you stressed him out." I was like, man, Loki went bad guy. I mean, he had been bad for a while, I guess.
He's the god of mischief.
He's the god of mischief. I love his character. Tom Hiddleston nails it. Has a lot of great back and forth with. I love Idris Elba in this film as Heimdall. He plays the Guardian. He's the keeper. This guy's great in everything he does, and he's just a badass with that big ass sword. Moving through the story, wrapping it up, getting toward like the big chunks here. Loki makes a deal with Jotunheim, basically says, we're going to be friends. We're going to take over Asgard. He's lying. He's going to make it look like he's the hero, save his dad at the last minute, and kill the Frost Giant, who is his dad, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Man, I haven't watched this movie in a long time.
That was Loki's dad that he kills and saves his fake dad. You know,
jeez,
I know I didn't pick up on that till this rewatch. They were like, he's like, who's my dad though? And I was like, who are my parents? And he was like, the leader, essentially. I was like, oh my god. So he wasn't just like a random frost giant. I also had like once you watch these movies so many times, you start really digging. Okay, so I was like, why did Odin take this baby for real? Because Odin says he was like, oh, I wanted to bring our people together. But I thought about this. I was like, wait a minute. You're going to kidnap this thing's baby when you're supposed to have a truce with this guy. And I was thinking he was just trying to prevent another heir coming from the Frost Giants in that guy's name. And I think this was foreshadowing of like Odin kind of having a dark side like we'll learn in Thor Ragnarok.
I mean, he did some shady shit. So there's early hints of that. That's interesting. Yeah, I did not pick up on that.
Because you kind of view Odin as like this knowing all being when you first see him. Like he's almost God.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he can't really do anything wrong. Well, no, he's just like the rest of us, and he's still learning lessons all the way through the end.
And that's the beauty of all these characters is everyone is flawed in ways sometimes you don't anticipate.
Exactly. Or like how something that seemed like you're like, oh, that was selfish. You like kind of peel back the layers. Oh, that's why they did that.
Yeah.
Getting to the end of the movie, Thor still doesn't have his powers. He goes to the destroyer that's been sent by Loki. This thing smacks him and he's like dying, says goodbye to Jane. Big, powerful moment. This is like the first thunder up. You've been waiting for it the entire movie. Who else was disappointed whenever he couldn't pull it out of the shield base? Agent Coulson said it all. He said, wait, I want to see this. I was like, all of us want to see it. He pulls out the hammer, brings the heat. He beats the destroyer, I think, in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it does end very quick all of a sudden, doesn't it?
It does. It's very quick.
The destroyer looked cool, though.
It did look cool, and they actually S.H.I.E.L.D. ends up keeping that and building the weapon that would eventually shoot Phil Coulson. In the next movie we're going to review after Iron Man 3, Avengers 1.
Oh, that's right. Wow, that's a great connection, too. I forgot about that.
Whenever you write down notes, you really can remember what happened.
It helps.
I'm a real pro notes guy.
I'm literally learning today. Thank you.
You caught more on your rewatch than I did. Maybe I should do another rewatch.
I think you as many times as you can. All right, so Thor's back. Mjolnir comes in hot, gets his power, saves everybody. Dr. Selvig, Jane, saves them all. This is so cool. This guy's the real deal. You'll see what happens in Avengers. Like we said, we'll be talking about that one coming up. We're doing all of them. So back on Asgard, Thor leaves Earth, defeats the Frost Giants, faces off with Loki in an epic battle where those two are fighting to the death at the Bifrost. The plan here was Loki's destroying Jotunheim because, as they foreshadowed in the first 10 minutes, Heimdall says that when you point this thing at a planet for too long, it'll blow it up. So Thor can't stop it. He's like, I can't stop it, but he's also promised Jane he'll be back. Well, he can't let this species die. He destroys the Bifrost with his hammer. Odin ends up coming out, catches both of the boys before they fall off the edge. Thor is holding Loki. Loki looks up, says, Dad, I tried. I did this. And Odin just says, nope. Loki falls off into the universe, falls down into this black hole. Where does he go? We'll find out later at the end credit scene of the movie. wraps up Thor and Odin reconcile. Thor recognizes he has a lot to learn. The ego is dwindling down by the end of the film. Before we get into the end credit scenes, favorite part, Imran, I see it. What are we
Well,
gonna...
he was I remember thinking he was stuck on Asgard at the end of this movie.
Yes, he's stuck on Asgard because he's broke this thing, but then they just like fix it.
Right. Then they figure out that Heimdall can just run the thing, and he shows up again. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he does have he even in Infinity War, he literally sends the Hulk down to Earth with just like his sword, and he's like on his last breath.
Yeah. So we didn't know how strong Heimdall actually was, and he could just touch someone and send them. As far as the favorite part, actually, these early movies, the post credit scene, got me the most because it was so new. And it was so like a comic book, and nobody was doing that. And you were like, what? And now it's just commonplace. Even with WandaVision, people are like, is there stuff at the end? I'm going to watch till the end. There's nothing at the end.
And you know what else they...
6 minutes of...
6. That's short. Yeah. 12-minute credits usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very long. It looks good, but it almost looks like they were like, "Hey guys, we got to make this look really good so people watch it for a long time." But talking about in credit scenes, I say this all the time. Like the MCU, they set the stage with this kind of stuff. I love at the end of this movie, it says just very straightforward: Thor will return in the Avengers. I was like, hell awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, don't mess around. Just tell me what's coming. That is so exciting. I was so pumped. I remember getting the teaser for the Avengers in the theater. It was like the post credit. It was like literally a trailer where they put it only in the theaters, and you just got flashes of like each hero. And I was like, it's coming.
Yeah, it's giving me chills thinking about it. I remember the first one, and I was like, oh my God, they're doing this. And then in Hulk, it's a horrible movie, and there's another one, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a thing. They're actually doing this. And it changed everything.
Talking about the end credit scene, let's break it open. So we meet Dr. Selvig again. He's meeting with Nick Fury. Actually, before we get there, there's a YouTube video. It's at the very end of the movie. This is a callback to the fan mail we just highlighted with the talking about the black hole, the light hole, all that. Apparently, this is what we just explained, and what Nick sent us in the text is what the end credit scenes is of the movie. Like it leaves Heimdall and Thor, and it takes you on this journey.
Oh wow!
Through space, and it lands at the light hole at Asgard, and like pulls you. Like, it's a full probably 2-3 minute thing.
Oh wow!
So if you go back and watch it, you'll feel like you're traveling through space, like on one journey. But
that's cool.
Then we do get Dr. Selvig. He meets with Nick Fury. They're gonna study. We see for the very first time the Tesseract, which we don't know yet. Maybe I'm sure the big Marvel fans knew, but I didn't know. This is an Infinity Stone, and they're teasing it out. We don't even know what it's called yet. We just know that he calls it Power, and that we're gonna see this thing again in our next movie review, Captain America: The First Avenger of the MCU rewatch. And we see that Loki is there. He's on kind of like Dr. Selvig's shoulder in the back in the distance, kind of saying like, ooh, let's see what this thing looks about, teasing out that something's going to happen with Loki and Power and Dr. Selvig. What are they setting up? The Avengers.
Dude, that also ties into like his show once they reset the timeline and he jumped with that Tesseract at a different time. And now he's in. So again, we're going to see Tom Hiddleston soon on Disney Plus, and I think that's probably one of the greatest things that these Thor movies gave us was Loki. It's so amazing.
Yeah, think about this. We're watching kind of like the first 3 episodes of Loki, because you see the Loki that gets to Avengers, and then that's where Loki picks up. Except he vanished, you know. It's a different one, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like up to that point, we know what he's lived through.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. What are we going to see from Darcy in WandaVision? I mean, she picked up a lot of stuff from Jane. She's obviously there's parts where she actually said something smart that proved that she was listening to Jane and learning. And she is in Thor 2, The Dark World, and she gets her own intern. So she was moving up the corporate ladder. And we do know from Age of Ultron that Jane ends up winning like a Nobel Peace Prize because of how big and how well she's done in the world.
Yeah.
So Darcy was there. Is she going to be part of Sword? Is that what we're thinking?
I think so. I think at the end of the first episode of WandaVision, that when they pull back and that looks like a lady's hand watching the screen, I think that's Kat Dennings. I think that's Darcy. I think she now, because S.H.I.E.L.D. is done, so she's just working for Sword now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that we've seen in movies throughout are going to end up being in that field once this next episode starts of WandaVision, or just associated with Sword in some way for sure. That'd be a very cool thing to happen. So I'm ready for it.
I know we're going to talk about WandaVision today, but I just watched an interview with Paul Bettany today,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave a little nugget, and he said somebody he acts with, he's wanted to act with his whole life.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he's very excited, and it's a dream come true that he's working with this actor, and we don't know who it is yet.
Oh my God! Who did they dig up Marlon Brando? What's
Oh
going
my
on?
gosh, I can't even.
Robert De Niro.
Is it going to be Luke Skywalker?
It's gonna be a DHCG Luke Skywalker again. Listen, at some point, every actor in Hollywood will be in a Marvel property.
Or DC, or sorry, not DC, Star Wars and MCU maybe eventually on Disney Plus become a multiverse.
Oh God, how do you explain that one away?
The light hole. You explain it because the light hole.
Light hole. The light hole will take you from Star Wars to the MCU. Right this way.
What
sir.
if I would have told you whenever Iron Man came out? If I was standing in front of you in 2008, I'm like, hey, dude, in 12 years, we'll have 5 Marvel shows in a year and 4 movies. You'd be like, no, never.
No way. I mean, I'd still have to pinch myself. That I was watching Endgame. I remember the first time. I'm like, are they showing me Spider-Man holding the Infinity Gauntlet, swinging off Thor's hammer? Is this what I'm watching? And I didn't. That battle at Endgame, when they started coming together, I totally expected them to like cut away and come back when it's over. I was like, there's no way. And then they showed you all of it. Oh my God.
Everything you were like thinking, I hope I see this. You really saw it in Infinity War and Endgame.
I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this. They actually did this.
And if you like the Infinity movies, we just did the Infinity Saga where we talked about both those things. So there's a whole episode just for you, just for that. Let's wrap up Thor. We'll rate it. We'll go do a roundtable. Just my high-level thoughts and my takeaway from the film. The story, again, very much like Iron Man 2. Story of ego. These are early days Avengers. We're going to see all this play out again in Avengers. Their egos are not done with, and they're learning. They're learning how to be heroes. But Thor does go through his story arc of this phase, and there is an absolute it's a heartbreaking, heartwarming, all at the same time kind of feeling of Thor and the stuff he's going through. He has a quote in here, actually, that correlates directly to a quote in Endgame. And he says in here to Selvig, I think, when they're at the bar drinking, which I just did a episode of Mostly Superheroes, the music show, and we did our top songs from the MCU. It's a song that's in this scene. They're having the beer scene. This is when Dr. Selvig's like, you got to leave town, leave Jane alone. He says, for the first time in my life, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And in Avengers Endgame, he says, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna live for who I am, not who I'm supposed to be, because his mom tells him to stop trying to be something for everybody else.
Wow.
So just a big arc showing how he goes from being like this kid who can't wait to be king, like very Simba, and just real pumped up to like run the 9 realms. Then he starts learning like, oh, it's not all just being cool. Had a lot of fun with it. I obviously rewatch the shit out of it all the time. We gave a thing about what I gave Iron Man 2. It's going to help me give a base for this. I'm going to give this a 3.1. PC Mike, let's go to you, and we'll work our way up.
It has been 10 years since I've seen this film, so your recap helped me. I'm going to go safe because it's been a long time. But, I mean, the characters are there, the actors are there, the actresses are there. I'll go safe, and I'll just give it a 3.0. 3.0 from my 10 years of not watching.
Hey, it's always an honest rating, make sure it's like what you really feel at the end of the day, this movie. Giggler.
I'm going to match your rating at the 3.1. I was thinking about that. It's definitely something that I'll throw on the TV if it's on randomly and enjoy every second of it. But I love it, how it set up everything. And it was a great movie by itself, too. So, yeah, 3.0 seems like 3.1, perfect score. Not perfect, but
perfect for you because it's real and it's honest, and that's all that matters around here. Imran, give us your thoughts on the Thor film and your rating. And I know you guys do a 10 scale, I think.
We do it out of 10, but I can convert. I have an iPhone. It's
all right.
Very quick.
Well,
an app that does that.
And you said you've listened, so it's pretty straightforward. GPA kind of 4.0.
Guy's using the metric system, throwing me off. Look, is it a little silly? Sure. Is the potential, some of it wasted? Maybe, but for its place in time, it is very entertaining. It was an important setup. We meet a lot, and like just talking about it again, we meet a lot of important characters. A lot of things happen that affect things later. So I think it deserves there, and it's a good base for the Thor character to grow. It needed to start somewhere. It's an all right start. I will give it a 3 also, I think. How about in the middle? A little above middle.
Fair scores. I think that, again, our threshold usually ends up around that rewatchability on that 3.0. It's like if you're rewatching it and you're having fun, it's like you're going to be above 3. If I find myself continuously saying I'm not going to watch this again, it's like, well, you're in the 2s.
Is there an MCU movie you'd never watch again? I can think of maybe one. I don't know.
I would say there isn't one yet. I'll say that.
I'm going to be honest. I tried watching Captain Marvel again.
Okay.
That
might be the one.
Mm.
But I still watch it because you still get young Nick Fury. You still get young Agent Coulson.
Cool shit in there, yeah.
Well, speaking of other MCU films, we are in the middle of an MCU rewatch. We're taking you along with the Phase 1 through Phase 3 stuff while we watch the brand new stuff coming out on Disney Plus all year. So next film will be Captain America, the first Avenger. So we'll do that one next week. Can't wait. Avengers will be after that. And then we will get into Iron Man 3. That's the first movie of Phase 2, another controversial one. You talk about one of the worst ones or one that people don't really typically like to watch or talk about. We're going to watch it and talk about it.
Yeah, that one it's fun to talk about. And I still don't know whether I like it better than 2 or 3. It's Shane Black. It's always at Christmas. I don't know what his deal is. But honestly, this is fun to rewatch. I wish there was but there's probably a pill I could take that would allow me to watch Avengers again for the first time and relive that, because that moment, I mean, watching Endgame in a theater was amazing. I've never had an experience like that. But watching Avengers the first time when they see everybody, they spin around, I'm like, holy shit, they're doing this.
And each one just shows up. Like Tony just shows up. You're like, oh, he's here now. There's his music. Okay, this is awesome. I know this guy.
This movie shouldn't have worked. Like anybody else who did this movie, it would have been a disaster.
It would have been so bad.
So bad. And we have evidence of that. It shouldn't have worked, and they just nailed it. And now Kevin Feige rules the universe.
And now look at us. Now he's like, hey, I can do this almost every day.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want now.
Well, we're here for it. We are nerding out super
Absolutely.
hard. It's never been more exciting to be a Marvel fan, MCU fan, or really just a superhero TV and film fan. And we are here to talk about all of it. When we come back, we're going to continue the journey down Phase 4 and talk about the meat of today's episode, WandaVision Episode 3. Before we do that, we'll take one quick break, our last one, and we'll be right back.
You've heard others, but nothing could prepare you for the shameful stupidity that is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Hear Imran,
So if you offend everyone at once, it's a wash. I've covered everybody.
Anthony,
Sorry, I was texting. Say that again.
and Rug Boy
Yeah, whenever there's a snowstorm, my Slack hole tightens up.
as they talk over one another,
Just exactly the same as
Terminator.
We're talking over each other. It's fine.
Sorry.
swear,
I had boobies.
and ask you for money.
Just give us the money.
Witness the hubris as they claim to be the world's authority on comic book movies.
Who said
Never said that. You've never said that.
Who cares? A jock said that.
Comic book, TV, movie reviews, news, and whatever they choose. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Campy, silly, goofy fun.
Seriously, people really listen to this.
Jock and Nerd.
The meat.
Welcome back from the break. Hope you're having a good time. We are talking all about the MCU today. We just broke down Thor for you. My gosh, that was really fun. It's a good film. I hope you guys, if you watch it, we didn't even ask you. Tell us what you think of the movie. Write us in at mostlysuperheroes.com/contact. Get you in on the fan mail on the next episode. But now it's time to talk about Phase 4 of the MCU. We are on WandaVision, Episode 3. And we're going to break it open, talk about the story, tell you what happened, give us our thoughts, what's going on. First, let's set a base real quick, kind of check in. This is a show that we're watching week by week, so you should be getting a feel for how we feel about this. I'm going to just lead us off. I'm having a lot of fun. I know that I'm like the biased MCU guy, but I watch this TV show and I think this is something new that I have not seen in such a fun way. That is this crazy mystery that just also happens to be like dark. Also, like it's funny, it's beautiful, but it's dark and it will grab me from contrasting to these fun, bubbly moments to these zoomed out, zoomed in, silent, perfect, no music. These actors are so committed. I'm having such a blast. Giggler, how are you feeling about WandaVision so far?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. It's just so awesome. Every episode has knocked it out of the park for me. I honestly can't wait till Friday. It's actually it hurts because I'm so pumped. Like I just need to know. I'm just starved for like advancement of the story. Like I need to know what's happening. Like these episodes are so short. That's my only complaint. Like there's 7-minute credits, so like even when you pull up to see the time of the episode, it's like no, it's still not.
It's like
that
22 minutes. This is like
Yeah.
a standard sitcom runtime, almost 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, honestly. But I've heard speculation. I don't know if this is true, but like the last few episodes are gonna have more of like a movie type feel and be longer. I don't know if that's true or not. I guess it kind of makes sense because every episode's been like more of a decade, and that's too many episodes for decades. So I feel like
you can do the math and figure it out. Yeah.
PC Mike, how's it going with you? Because I know I want to hear Imran's as well, but I know you guys have been talking about it, and I want to hear what your crew's been talking about. PC Mike, how's it going for you with WandaVision so far? Be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest too, because we all really stroke off MCU. I feel like, and I don't want you to get caught up in that if you're not feeling it.
No, I've actually liked it more than I thought I would. Just like
Yeah.
I like the mystery aspect and putting some pieces together, and like I like the internet coming together and coming up with clues, like with the hexagons and all the little stuff like that. My big question is their budget. I don't know how you spend $25 million in a 22-minute episode.
I want to see this 250 million, you bastards. You better show this. You better show this by the end of it.
I don't think it's basic math, man. You can't just say that it's like this might have been like a $2 million episode.
They said 25 million an episode.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it's what they were working with, but they could shift it around, but still.
You would think they would shift it around for these bigger episodes.
Is it the set? I mean, I don't know. Is it the cast?
I don't know.
I think
a Brady Bunch set cost $25 million for this last
maybe
one?
they rented out an actual Topgolf for this part at the end that we'll talk about. They didn't CGI.
That's legit my biggest little pet peeve. Like, how in the world are you spending this much money?
Show me the money.
Yeah, but it's like 22 minutes and it's on an old Brady Bunch set, it looks like, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Fine with, but like that's the only thing that like as I watch, I feel myself like an accountant, like, well, how much was that?
Yeah, but how much does it cost compared to other TV shows that run for 9 episodes that are like kind of prime time? Like how much was Game of Thrones per episode?
I think it's cost more than Game of Thrones.
It did. Game of Thrones started at like 8 million, ended at like 15 million an episode towards the end.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I got the data from this Instagram I sent you guys the other day. Each episode of Disney Plus WandaVision has a budget of 25 million, making it the most expensive TV show in history, topping the Pacific 20 million per, and Game of Thrones at 15 million per.
15. Wow.
Game of Thrones had like real horses and like a battle of the bastards.
Dragons, yes, and a huge cast. And
maybe they're just trying to. They have to pay Paul Bettany to change in and out of his vision, non-vision.
I think part of it may be that these people were being paid Hollywood actor movie scales. Now they're not going to take a pay cut to do a TV show. And if you are putting the same amount of money you were putting in a big movie, I would imagine they're going to want a hefty payday as well. But overall, the 5G said each of these shows will be about 6 hours of content for each series.
He did. That's fair.
Yeah. So we're going to get either going to get 6 hours Falcon and Winter Soldier. You're going to get 6 hours of this and different.
Imran, how's it going for you? WandaVision so far?
Dude, I mean, I echo all your guys' statements. I'm digging it. The first 2 episodes, were a lot of fun. They didn't blow me away, but clearly, they're slow rolling this. I was raised to buy television, literally. My parents are 2 TV sets. And so I watched classic sitcoms my whole life, all summer reruns, and the attention to detail The way they have nailed every decade's look is amazing. It's so well done. And the fact that you get to see Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany really do more than you've seen them do this whole time in any of the movies. You see them interact more than they've ever interacted before. It's a great way to get to know these characters, and it makes me excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier because now I want to hang out with Bucky. I always wanted to know more about this Bucky. They barely give you anything.
I've said that too, that in terms of the Marvel show projects, that was one of the biggest reasons I was excited at all, was like thinking about, wow, we're going to get 6 episodes with Bucky Barnes. That's going to be such a cool thing. Like, he has had such a story and none of it's really been told. Like, he was in Wakanda for 2 years. Like, I mean, there's such a time of him being the Winter Soldier. I'm sure it's going to be like a flashback. I'm excited. Well, today's all about WandaVision. We always like to set up the story just like they set up the story and take out what we saw was important. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't think the previously on part of a TV show is important, you're wrong. Previously on WandaVision, you get some glimpses of Dottie, Geraldine. Again, you're going to get more of them. The talent show where they had to make sure they fit in. Then they showed us the beekeeper crawling up from the manhole where we think Wanda rewound that thing, said, I don't want to see that right now. And boom, at the end of the episode, she's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. I'll tell you one thing that's not getting old at all is seeing the Marvel title run every single week.
I missed that. Dude, I missed that. And then when it came out, I was like, oh, this feels so right. And then I loved in the first episode how it turned to black and white.
Yes.
And also the audio. I was listening to headphones. The audio goes from stereo to like a mono recording, as it goes black and white. So there's so many little attention things to detail that they do that I miss most of them. But they've clearly built this show for what you guys said, people to go on the internet and freeze frame this and come up with clues. And that's the smartest thing they could do, because all week long you're just like talking about it and you want more. You want more. They leave you wanting more. And it's a great puzzle show, which I love. Like Lost. I think you guys mentioned it reminded you of Lost. It's a lot. It's got that Lost feel where it's a puzzle.
And Imran, you weren't kidding about sitcoms. So you have another podcast.
Yeah, I do one called Dance of Joy with my sister. We are rewatching every episode of Perfect Strangers, the hit sitcom with Balky and Larry. There's 8 seasons of that show. But studying that show and studying sitcom, and it's still the reason we did that. I grew up watching that show, and it's on Hulu, and the show's still hilarious. I was like, this show is still really funny. The timing, the comedy. So we just decided to do it, but referencing other sitcoms and studying these other sitcoms, like they did all their homework and they did it really well.
Well, I think I'm sure you've had a joy then with these episodes. My goodness, they are really doing it right. I love the entry titles. I love how they have inspiration. I've said this before on the show from other sitcoms. This one, we are in color. This was the big transition at the end of episode 2. Wanda is graduating through a normal relationship with Vision, and she is kind of, I think, making these things happen in a fashion to where, okay, now we're in color, it's the 70s. Well, what would happen next in a relationship of a married couple? They'd have a baby. That's what's the theme of the whole episode. You get some Brady Bunch, Partridge Family vibes in this intro, I felt like. Imran, did you agree, or did you see anything else in there?
No, absolutely. The font is straight up Brady Bunch. The Partridge Family the music. It reminds me a lot of the Partridge Family. The repeating titles, Mary Tyler Moore did that. The bit where they're on the bicycle reminded me of Three's Company a little bit. I tell you, I watched a lot of television. I've watched it all, unfortunately. Wasted a lot of time. But they're hitting all the right notes. And even the set is like a flip of the Brady Bunch house. Same staircases. It's just mirrored the other way.
Wow.
So they did a good job of making it look like those shows, but not straight copying the show, making it their own thing.
And I love the line in the theme song, 1 + 1 is more than 2.
There's a lot of references to twins in the whole episode. This was my favorite so far because it did something, the whole episode, everything mattered. And it seemed like every line was important, that every line is a clue almost.
Obviously doing this podcast, you take notes, and I noticed that like, I'm almost writing the transcript of the episode because it's so short. And there's so much. I'm like, oh man, okay. Well, and that's why you'll see. That's where we got to plug our YouTube channel. All these images are from Disney Plus, and I've got the snapshots of what I saw as I broke this out because you can break it down kind of moment by moment. Speaking of which, Doctor is in the house. Okay, we get this Doctor.
Yeah,
I love this guy. I don't know if anybody has the actor name handy. He's hilarious. I think he's perfectly cast. He fits right in. You feel like you are watching a sitcom that's been on television for a long time, but looks like high def. It looks very good.
Yeah.
He says you're definitely pregnant. It's happening fast. Vision's concerned. Wanda's excited, so excited to get a zoom in shot of here. You can see where she's really just like embracing this moment of like, I can't wait for this. She's happy about where things are headed. The whole episode is around this pregnancy, keeping it a secret still. They're not really telling anybody because she's been pregnant basically overnight.
Yes.
Vision predicts this thing's going to come in 3 days. We turn out it's going to be a lot faster than that. And just talking about that part a little bit before we move on to the next piece, because the next piece is about the neighbors. We expect these twins to come. This has been like the whole idea that these kids are coming. In the comics, I know they have these kids, Wiccan and Speed, and we've seen from the trailer like the baby stuff is coming. So you expect 2 kids right off the bat. But one thing is for sure is that Wanda's excited about this. She wants this to happen. The question is, are these kids gonna be real? Are they going to exist for real? Are they going to be something that continue on to be like Young Avengers and exist? Or are these seriously just like in Wanda's head? Imran, what were you thinking during the early part of the episode, seeing like it was going to be a pregnancy-focused show?
I mean, I thought it was hilarious that when he goes out and comes back in, he's like, "Holy mo, you're bigger again!" And the doctor's name is Dr. Nielsen, which may be a nod to the Nielsen ratings, but I thought it was hilarious how Dr. Nielsen does not think women are very smart, does he, guys?
He made it about the fruit.
Yes. And then he has another line later to Geraldine about, "Oh, you'd make a perfectly good nurse." And then you looked at, but it's picking up on the tropes of these 70s sitcoms where that's kind of how it was.
I also love, I'll go ahead.
No, just the thing I love is the setting of the sitcoms is, like I said, I watched these sitcoms and these sitcoms always had a twisted, warped reality to begin with. You have crazy sitcom rules. You see it in here. Baby comes out. It's perfectly clean. Bang. That's a sitcom trope. Silly stuff like that. So the fact that she's already warping more in that warp reality, it's so clever.
It's really good. And this is where that sitcom reality mindset really gets tested in this next part. This is where Vision goes outside. The doctor leaves. Of course, he's going on vacation. That wouldn't be a sitcom if he wasn't. But he says Vision sees Herb, got a photo of it here, and he's sawing through his brick wall with these hedge clippers, just smiling away. This actor is hilarious. He's so funny. And Vision says, "You're getting carried away there." And he goes, "Oh, I am," and just smiles real big. What in the hell is happening here? Somebody tell me.
I have a theory, I think.
Okay, go.
So this is, I don't know. I just think it could be maybe a symbolism for what she's doing is fracturing the multiverse.
Right. It's breaking things.
That's all I got.
She's spinning. She's having contractions. Things are spinning. We're gonna get the water breaking scene. Maybe she's breaking people.
Yeah, that's also, you're right. Herb is the man. Probably one of my favorites of the whole show.
You gotta do the double guns. He's done that like every episode. Herb's like,
yeah. He's hilarious. But that's my thoughts. Who knows? We'll see in the future, I guess. But it was just so I was thinking about this for days. I was like, what is the significance of that? I don't understand.
It's so creepy and weird.
It is creepy and weird. We're going to talk more about the neighbors having some concerns about something later. They actually shed a little bit about who they are, so maybe that'll help us. We'll maybe revisit this when we get there. We do get some kid names here. They're getting the house ready. They say they're basically fighting whether it's going to be Tommy or Billy, assuming it's going to be a boy. We see that the butterflies above the crib come to life, and she says, "I didn't mean to do that. We are led to believe it's probably. I think it was the babies."
Whoa, well, either way, she's creating life now. She made the butterflies come to life, and is she creating life that are going to be... There's another clue about like the stuff she creates, and we'll get to the end. It may stick.
Okay, that's
so
interesting.
her creating life is probably what's warping.
Yeah, because next is the storks.
Yeah, that was weird too.
But you're right, they're alive. But here's where I thought it wasn't her, is whenever she tried to make it disappear, and it was like, nope.
No, she couldn't. The stork, maybe, if you've read the like the Mephisto, Agatha Harkness, whoever wants the babies, and that may have been the stork. And there was red smoke, and Wanda could not get rid of the stork. Very interesting. Stork brings the babies. Was it coming to take the baby?
Interesting as well. Yeah, and also, speaking of these babies, You know, who's been pushing this relationship along the whole time but Agnes, and we're going to get her in the episode. Seems like
Well, the whole town's chanting for the children at her.
For the children.
They all want her to have this baby, and I think that's a big part of it because the babies are the resolution for these people in this town.
So then there's the part where, okay, so the baby's coming. She starts having contractions. You get a great line from Vision. Let's abandon the kitchen. I laughed both times again. And then there's a part where Wanda kind of says, you know, something doesn't feel right. And Vision really thinks about it. And he says, I think, you know, you're right. The Hearts, Agnes, and Herb next door, something's wrong. And it's really eerie. This is, again, grabs me. Oh, rewind. You know, insert cheesy, just we're going to be okay. We'll figure this out.
Yo, how many of you guys thought your Disney Plus glitched out and was like, well, hold on. What happened? I'm going to rewind this.
I'm so glad you asked this. I'm going to straight up complain right now about Disney Plus for a second. It backed up, okay? But here's what we've been doing for the show. We do group watches for the Mostly Superhero Squad with with the link. This thing starts glitching out so bad that whenever that part happened, I was like, oh man, this thing really is still glitching out. I had to rewatch like the whole episode because the group watch was glitching. Disney Plus, I'm just saying it so that it doesn't happen again. Otherwise, we can't do that. I can't watch it for the first time.
You're like Wanda's rewinding everything in this episode. What's going on?
It was skipping 10 seconds like at a time.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's
super glitch.
Yes.
That's unwatchable.
But anyway, I did think that for real because of that, but it was, right? So she's doing this, we assume.
Yeah. Anytime he gets close to figuring out what the reality is, she resets things. And I love the awkward jump edit cut was hilarious, actually.
And kind of when she's not around, things start to kind of fall apart too.
Yeah.
Like outside with him cutting the wall.
So I think that's part of Herb is she was distracted.
Yeah.
And is Herb a sword agent or a townsperson? Is he actually trying to cut through the barrier in real life to get in here? I don't know.
Break through the fourth wall or whatever they call it too.
Yeah.
Like
See, and that's the other thing about sitcoms. There's always that fourth wall that you're looking to. So I'm wondering if they're ever going to address that and break that and address the camera.
Well, it's what sitcoms or what TV shows are going to come next. It's like I've heard theories about like The Office and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
so then you could do straight to the camera.
Straight to the camera, sitting there talking. Oh my gosh. We'll see. So the next thing that happens, baby's coming, water breaks. It's literally raining. I guess like Wanda's like, I don't know if it's like water. I'm sure it's just water.
No, it's kind of gross though.
It was kind of gross. And then I thought, well, at least it's just in their house.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Geraldine shows up. She needs a bucket.
Yeah.
Vision runs at hyperspeed to go get the doctor.
He just used his powers in public. I thought that was awesome.
It just literally puts him on his back. He's like, I don't care. We got to do this.
But he can fly. Why is he running? I don't understand what's going on.
And then we get our first ad of the episode, the only ad of the episode. Every episode has had one ad in the middle, usually themed around like the two same like people. Like it's like, who are these people? Are these her parents? Is what I think.
Yes.
And this one is need a break? Come to a world all your own. Problems float away. Get away. Don't go anywhere. Hydra soak. Find the goddess within.
Amazing. The commercials are some of my favorite parts of these episodes. First of all, like I'm like, oh, I want to dig in and find the clues. I love it. I think it's her trauma. Each one is something that's traumatized her, and this one is just about. But I think it's her parents too. It's the same two people. But they're done so well too. It's so good.
And like that's what it's like. That's just the memory part. Like it's just like her brain waving in and out of these those tragedies. Yeah, Giggler, did you have any thoughts on the commercial? Did you like pick anything out?
No, I totally agree. I think it's just their trauma that's just deep down in her head, like a lot of Hydra related stuff.
Yeah.
I think there was some sort of Easter egg between this soap and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where Coulson talked about Hydra having like mind control soap.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Oh my god! Good job, Andy. Jeez, I don't remember that.
Reddit. If you go to Reddit, like episode discussions, it's insane what the people will say in there. Like it blows my mind. Like some people
they find. Well, so people were trying to see if there's a connection between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like that whole Marvel TV product and all the Netflix. They're like entirely different department, different creatives altogether. I really don't think Kevin Feige wants anything to have to do with any of that stuff. But that episode, he was in the framework, and Coulson was like a conspiracy theorist, and he was going studying Hydra mind control soap. Yes.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a direct. I would say that is a connection near that.
I guess.
But
I think they'll make connections to that show when convenient, but I don't think they're gonna go hard at it.
I think also there could just be straight up Easter eggs planted in here that don't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like watching the movies now, like, and then looking all the way back at like Thor or something like that. And you're going to see, oh, wow, they talked about this in episode 3.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 3 years down the line.
I love that. Or if like it's a scene from like actual, like from Iron Man where like something happened. Like here's something that I've never had explained to me, like from Iron Man. Why was that weird Captain America shield in his, it was actually Iron Man 2 where he's building the element.
Right. He had that before. Yeah.
What was that a prototype he built? Was that
I thought that was the one. Don't they explain it was Howard, his father had it from before and gave it to him?
But it was in Iron Man 2. It's that like weird Captain America. It's like a weird wiry shield.
Oh, yeah.
And he uses it to prop up his particle accelerator when he's building a new element to power his suit. And I was like, what is this Captain America shield? Phil Coulson goes, do you know what this is? And I was like, no one has ever explained this to me. Maybe like multiverse like pops in there. Someone like dropped it. You know?
That's one of those things that they just kind of threw in there. You're right. That don't mean anything, that maybe they could tie it back in. But that's a good question.
I've always wondered.
Yeah.
All right, moving the story along in WandaVision, we get back from the ad. Vision goes get the doctor. Geraldine's here, and she's telling her a story about Mr. Haddox drinking water from the water fountain upside down. She's like trying to impress him with this idea for a commercial for, what's it called? Sugar O's?
O's, Sugar O's or something. Yeah.
And she gets a big promotion, and that's what she tells the story of. Wanda goes into labor. Geraldine's going to have to deliver this baby. The house is going nuts. Geraldine's there to help. She's helping Wanda get through this. This is where Vision gets back, and this baby is born. We have Tommy. You have a really nice moment. These are the moments that, like, break my heart, and I think that it's going to break our hearts later, is, like, Vision and Wanda sharing this moment. She says, turn into yourself, so your son can really see you. Ugh. Sad. Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
And then she screams so big. She has a second baby. And this is where we got that backhanded compliment from the doctor saying you could be a nurse, Geraldine.
You pick a great nurse.
Doctor's trip. This is where Vision walks out with the doctor, and we get this close-up scene. And he goes, "Are you going to go on your trip?" And the doctor says, it's hard to go small towns. And it walks off. Can't escape him. Can't escape him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So hard to escape.
Yeah.
And walks off. And this is where we get more weird attitude from the people actually being kind of more forthcoming with what's happening. To the people of the town of Westview. We have Agnes and Herb, and they call Vision over, and they basically say, "Hey, is Geraldine in there with Wanda?" Well, meanwhile, Geraldine's in there with Wanda. They're rocking the babies, and Wanda acknowledges her brother Pietro, who did die in Avengers Age of Ultron, and says, "I had a twin." And she sings a song in Sokovian. Geraldine is very visibly remembering something, and it's making her lose her track of the TV reality world. And she's thinking, and she says, "Your brother, Pietro, he was killed by Ultron, right?"
Dude, this was a vocal oh shit moment for me where I said it out loud, and this is my favorite episode, because every episode's gotta have an oh shit moment. I was like, oh shit, Ultron is getting real. What's going on?
I looked over, like, after the scene had, like, stopped, and my fiance was staring at me, because apparently I was, like, so tuned into the TV. I was going, and I was saying out loud, of course, "Oh shit, oh my god, oh shit, oh my god." She does not like this. Wanda doesn't like it, right? She's like, "What did you say?" And she gets more vicious. Goes back out to the neighbors. Agnes says, "This lady don't have a husband. She don't have a job. She doesn't even have a home."
Yeah, so what's she talking about? The pipes in my house burst.
She was lying.
Yeah, it's suspicious.
I think she was lying.
But so that means that Geraldine knew what to lie about enough.
Yeah, she's watching, right? Like, send her in, I think.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Especially with the
Truman Show-y.
Yes,
like,
I had to highlight what you guys said on your podcast. Imran was Truman Show meets Pleasantville.
Yeah, a little Pleasantville, a little creepy. You don't know what, like if you start at Pleasantville when it's black and white, and then because the reveal's the color and you don't know who's pulling the strings, and Wanda's pulling the strings, but there's all these other forces.
And then Herb says, she's from out of town. She's not from here. And he says, because we're
Oh my God, he almost told her what was going on. I was like, what? Because we're all one, Herb. Finish your goddamn sentence.
I was like, is it trapped? Is it mutants?
Yes.
Is it something like
we're
special? Dead? Are we dead? Yeah.
Are we sleeping? Are we? Yeah. What? Herb, finish your thought. Ugh.
What did you think, PC Mike, was happening whenever he gives this hint? Was there any kind of like, any light bulbs going off during this scene with the neighbors and Vision? Man, it had me watching the TV like I was hooked.
I kind of feel like the characters that are kind of planted there, like have that human aspect, like they want to help Vision, but they know they can't because maybe there's something else they have to do for the better good. They don't want to spoil their mission, but they have that human instinct in them to help. That's kind of how I felt about it. Like he wants to tell him so bad, but he just can't compromise whatever they're there for yet.
Yeah, he even leaves with the finger guns again. Says like,
he does,
I'll see you. Going back to Wanda, she's now up close and personal with Geraldine, who we believe to be Monica Rambeau. And from theory, not unconfirmed. I will still say to this day, has not been confirmed. I haven't seen. She's wearing a sword necklace. And when Vision gets back in, we get creepy Wanda smile, borderline evil, and saying, nope, we're all good. She left.
She's very sinister. She's very
sinister's a good word. Yeah, she was.
She's turning bad. What? I mean, if they set her up to be the bad in the Doctor Strange movie, because if they take her kids, she's gonna snap.
Well,
and you don't want to piss off Wanda.
And let's just jump ahead to it. What we were like, you almost wonder, what did she do? What did she do? Oh, well, she threw Geraldine out of the reality.
Booted.
Get to the big part of the episode. Geraldine's in a field, helicopters show up, SWAT teams come in, and there's a Top Golf-size stadium light-lit alternate reality where Sword or Shield or somebody is doing something, and I'm so excited. I'm screaming.
And Westview is a real town. It's not something she made up.
Yes, it's a place.
So you have Sword agents. You have Hydra, maybe. You have Agnes, and maybe there's some kind of devilish connection. But then you have the townspeople that they're trapped there, and they can't do anything about it. And I think it's wild. So if you were in this town, one day to you was in black and white, and then the next day was also in black and white, and now this third day is in color, and everything's 70. Is that what you're experiencing?
Like they're at their houses. They're at their own houses.
Yeah, and it's just changing around them. And is that what it's like to be in this town? Like, how wild is that?
I also loved how it went from the frame from the 70s
4:3 to wide.
Yeah, to 16:9 and like cinematic view. Went to
they
like
even shot it like the 70s, like the camera angles. I have to say the funniest line was when Dottie goes, does these earrings make me look fat? And the power goes out. He goes, oh, thank God. And it just cuts away. And I was like, that's funny.
Love that part. Giggler, how were you during this whole sequence of scenes leading to the end of the climax of the episode?
Oh God, I have so many thoughts. So like I also kind of noticed that when Vision came back inside, Wanda told him that Geraldine went home. So I think he's going to notice that she's lying because he knows now that she does not have a home.
She doesn't have a home, yeah.
So like if he doesn't bring it up and she doesn't realize that what he's like aware
he
of.
knows. I think he knows something's up now a little bit.
Right. But like she keeps rewinding. So
he can't even do anything.
I don't think he can rewind if she can't rewind if she's not aware that what he's onto. So that's something he can maybe kind of start to notice that and kind of investigate or who knows. But yeah, this scene when she left, I mean, or when she booted her out of that, I just think, I mean, if you think about it, she came out wearing those clothes that potentially were created in
That's
that
important
space.
Yes.
What else could come out of there.
So
that-
everything she's making is going to be okay in the outside world. Is that what we're
right.
to believe?
That's
And you
the
got
big-
this, and you got this Vision running around like doing things on his own, like
So is this how they bring Vision back? For a while, I was like, is this someone? And he just he's posing as Vision because I'm like, Vision's dead. Is he completely a figment? But if she can just create things and then they're alive outside, boom, Vision's back. There's your Vision.
It's crazy, but that could be it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just something that hit me earlier, and I was just like, "What?" Well, it's just crazy. Like, I think she would come out wearing whatever she went in wearing, but
Right. Yeah.
So I think
interesting.
it's, a dad and 2 kids that might be popping out of there at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, and what else? Like, I mean, just she
And
gonna keep,
also, like,
yeah, go ahead.
what are these kids gonna age? Like, they
Yeah.
could be,
I think the kids will be teenagers by the time the show ends and they come out. I bet you anything.
there's a crazy way to add like you said, Logan, earlier, like 2 new Avengers, young Avengers potentially, like, but also there could be something sinister going on behind all of this. So I'm pumped for we got 6 episodes left. I cannot wait.
I also want to talk about what is going on with her mentioning Pietro, because I feel like there's maybe some relevance there. Like, is she,
Yeah.
is that also just a memory thing where it's like her tragedies and that's her way, that's the show's way of telling us like when this is like kind of happening maybe too. It's like, okay, Age of Ultron's went down, but like, I don't know. I was like, I've heard rumors of Quicksilver coming back, and the one from the X-Men.
But the other one, yeah,
The other
Fox
one.
but not. I heard Evan Peters may play somebody completely different. Also, I don't know.
Interesting.
I think that's a good question. There's a reason she mentions Pietro. It's the moment where both of them are kind of snap out of it, right?
Yes, it brings them back to the
So-
real
Yeah.
world, like the now world. PC Mike, what do
Yeah.
you think?
I mean, remember that episode that she didn't even remember her name until
Yeah.
Wanda touched her. Like,
Oh yeah.
Right when they first met her, she didn't know her name until Wanda touched her.
Geraldine didn't. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
like,
Geraldine.
Geraldine, and then yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was weird too. Yeah.
So is there something like, I don't know, are they like feeding off each other, like to try to get back to reality or try to figure something out? I don't know. I think that they're leaving breadcrumbs that go nowhere sometimes too.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's
maybe,
yeah,
but
sometimes.
dude, some of this stuff seems so specific and purposeful that there's got. So I think Agnes wants Wanda to have these babies so she could steal them. I think the townspeople are behind Agnes. They want Wanda to have these babies so this nightmare can be over. And then Geraldine, whether she's on a mission from Sword or she's rogue, she got in there. And I think how she got in was the helicopter was actually something from the outside world, became a toy. The helicopter, maybe so she's trying to snap Wanda out of it to prevent the babies getting stolen. But
And when she told Herb like to not tell Vision what they were, there's a close-up shot of her, and to me, she looked very afraid.
yeah,
She was like, "No, no,
she
no."
said, "Stop it," just like Kitty said in the last episode. She
Wow.
was like, "Stop it." So Agnes needs her to be pregnant and have these babies and the babies to be there. Yeah.
Well,
She had the brooch again, whatever
Yeah,
that
and had-
character is with the
yeah.
brooch.
I had 3 people on it.
Obvious about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. Elizabeth Olsen did have an interview recently where she said that episode 4 is a huge turning point in the story. That it's going to be much more. It's going to move the story forward, and I am so excited to see it. We have 5 left.
But they've done that. They give you a little bit more every episode, so I can really see them ramping up. Plus, the first 3 were the only ones critics got to see beforehand, and I think that was also on purpose to kind of give them the tone. So I'm expecting even more big things to shake up because the formula is always the end of the episode. Something weird happens, pulls back the reality. I think it's more reality is going to get pulled back every episode until the last 2. It's just going to be full on Vision blasting lasers at something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
I remember the trailer of them using their powers for real and flying up, and it looks like they are in Westview. Like by that point, it might be like on the verge of happening or something. You know, it's like
Also, he said Paul Bettany said this is good. When this ends, it's going to make you look at the MCU in a whole new way. In that same article, he's talking about I'm working with an actor that I always want. He's good. This is going to change. I mean, they're making a lot of bold claims. They have since the beginning so far it's kind of paid off, though. I gotta tell
Well,
you.
I'll say, yeah, we talk about the Infinity Saga. Like, these guys figured out a formula, and I'm telling you, like, the rhythm of how these movies come out and how well the story is told, if they really figured this out and they have all this money, we are seeing it play out in the most exciting way for an MCU story to be told, which is weekly now.
Yeah.
Was this the first one that was supposed to come out originally, too?
No.
Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to be originally in August, and Black Widow was supposed to be back in May.
Yeah,
and
before everything.
That's crazy, though, that now that they let off with this one that could possibly change everything.
Yeah, but here's what I think. I think it's one of those situations where it's kind of like, you could, it's almost like Thor and Iron Man 2. You flip-flop them, it doesn't really matter.
I think it was a good idea. I think the pandemic and the fact that they didn't put out anything for over a year, which, they were putting out 4 things a year. Suddenly, no Marvel content. I think if you went Winter Soldier first, you kind of know what you're going to get, right? You're getting superhero action, explosions. But this show, nobody knew what the hell the show is going to be. So I love the break, but I also love coming back to something so different and weird and wild and inventive.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was the strategy behind it was, hey guys, everybody knows and loves Captain America. And then like the guys behind WandaVision were like, hey, I don't know if anybody really knows Vision. So we need to introduce that first. And then, when the pandemic hit, they were like, well, we're in a corner and we're going to do this. And I mean, I am loving that it came out this way, because I think, not to say I know what to expect with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it's going to be a totally different show. It's just totally different. All right, let's do some overall thoughts, wrap this up. And what do we think? I was going to bring up one piece that I think you guys probably covered this too around episode 2, Imran. I don't know how it's going to be after episode 3, but that this was the highest MCU rated piece on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
After episode 3 dropped a couple of points and is now tied at second. Black Panther number 1, 96%. It was at 97% after 2 episodes. 3 episodes, 94%. Unless it completely bombed. Because before this came out, I was like, what if this just show sucks? What if this show completely bombs? It would be disaster. I don't think it's going to bomb. But it's number 2, tied with Endgame at 94% now.
Well, I'm excited about where it's going. There's 5 episodes left. We got a lot to talk about. This is, again, a dream for a weekly podcast. We are having a blast talking about these, diving deep on it. We want to hear your thoughts, your theories. I know you have them. If you're listening, everybody out there has their own theories. I think it's going to be one of those situations where, like, some of us are right about this part, some of us are right about this part. I think that there's a lot to unpack, and they're keeping us guessing on purpose is what it seems like, too.
It's fun, though. It's fun to guess. Wait, let me ask you this question, because this is what Rugboy brought up, and it kind of made sense the first 3 episodes. He's like, these episodes are more fun to talk about than they are to actually watch. And I was like, okay, I kind of understand where you're coming from. I think the third one was a little bit more enjoyable, but it was just a slow open. But yeah,
for me personally, I do love talking about it, but watching it is such an experience. Like, I'm really tuned in.
Yeah. I've watched each one like 3 or 4 times.
Right. PC Mike?
I'm the other way. I like looking at like the theories and stuff like that, like kind of seeing people put stuff together, reading articles, and I don't know. I like that a little bit more because I miss a lot of stuff. So going back and seeing that and connecting it, that's what I enjoy most about this show, because it's different. I've never done this with a superhero type show before. Try to look for clues and do different things like that.
Giggler, overall thoughts, episode 3. What are you excited about for episode 4?
I'm excited to see who's all in this field that we're looking at right now. And
these are sword agents for sure.
I just think who, like, specifically who, like, I mean, I don't know. Coulson could be there. He's probably not, but
I think we're gonna see Randall Park as Jimmy Woo.
Yeah,
who I think was the voice on the radio on the last episode.
I've seen that. So, I think that could be that. Like, people like that we just haven't seen in movies. They're here, like side characters. They might be pretty big parts of this going forward. Who knows? Or we might not see this
again.
Sword people for another couple of episodes. Who knows? But I'm locked in. If I could have Wanda's powers and like rewind time, I'd fast forward time until Friday.
Up to Friday.
I'll do that. That's how excited I am. So
hell
let's
yeah.
do this.
Hell yeah, we'll keep it going. Amron, what overall thoughts on the show, and what are you guys gonna be talking about? When's your episode drop on when you guys are doing this? I'm sure you guys are gonna be breaking it wide open too.
Yeah, we just moved our recording release day, so our episode's coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. We recorded yesterday just to keep things more relevant. So it's a little bit of a change, but in the big scheme, it doesn't matter. I think Marvel caught a break with the pandemic, with the break, with making this show first. This show, I feel, will bring in more people to the MCU because you can enjoy it if you know absolutely nothing. If you know what a TV sitcom is, right? You've heard of I Love Lucy, Brady Bunch, you're in, no problem. I find a lot of people, I'm sure they suggested watching Age of Ultron after this. I think a lot of people will watch this and they're like, oh, who's this character? Let's watch Ultron, the first thing. It's so accessible for outside people, but then for the nerds, oh my God, it is a 3-5 course dinner with appetizers and a dessert and just keeps giving. It's like Garfield's never-ending lasagna thing. Man, I'm old. I just make old references. Who even knows what Garfield is anymore?
That's great. Oh, well, who doesn't remember Garfield? If you don't know who Garfield is, get out of here. There's even a live action one now, so you can watch that one, young kids.
If I make an Alf and a Mr. Belvedere joke, just cut my mic. So, what am I doing?
Well, we're gonna keep talking about WandaVision. I'm having a blast. I'm obviously biased as hell, but I totally agree with Imran. This is a show that you could totally pick up. I said it before. We're all learning what's happening to these characters, kind of with the characters.
Yeah.
So whether you're an MCU fan or not, you absolutely could get on board right now. But if you are a deep cut nerd like us, you want to hear the break opens, we're gonna keep on doing it. We're gonna keep going week by week. And next up, guys, is Falcon Winter Soldier. So we'll start prepping for that, doing some more MCU rewatches. Speaking of that, let's just move on to our coming up. I think we did a good job. That was pretty good. Pretty good break open. I like the theories. I like the thoughts. I love the enthusiasm because it's addicting, especially I feel like we are so lucky we keep saying thank you to Marvel, but it's so true that for people
we can talk about this for hours.
People that love it, for us, people that really love it, we are just getting to sit around and talk about it. And there's so much that we're going to be talking about a lot more coming up on the show. We already talked about Mostly Superheroes, the music show. That's our music spinoff exclusively on Spotify, built with Anchor. We just revisited, I think it's 5 or 6 MCU films and my favorite songs from those films. Stuff like Thor, Captain America. Speaking of Captain America, we are going to do the Captain America First Avenger rewatch. That's the next one. We'll do that next week. More WandaVision reviews. We also are going to get on the calendar. I promise it's going to happen. The Jurassic Park live watch party. You're going to watch it on your end. We're going to be live here, probably in the studio. Hopefully, if not, I have figured out how to do live shows from Zoom. That was with that pro account. Another expense for the show. A nice Zoom pro account so we can do live streams with the crew. And, of course, we are doing in March, to go along with March Madness, Mostly Madness. That's hashtag Mostly Madness, a movie tournament. This is going to be your favorite movies battling their way to the top from all types of genres. And PC Mike and the Giggler, we're going to get together and plan this thing out. But guess what? You can start submitting movies now. You can write us at our website. You can use the hashtag Mostly Madness. Comment on our Instagram. We're tracking everything coming in. This is your time to be like, what are your top 10 favorite movies? Because we're going to build out these things. I almost think the categories are going to come from the entries. What are people sending in? Because I want it to be broad. I want it to be a true battle, kind of if you end up with a Batman versus Superman versus Tenet. I want that to be okay. Who knows where it will end up. I wanted to ask Imran, has Jock and Nerd ever done something like this in your 6 years?
You know what? It sounds like a fun idea. I do love tournaments. We have not done it mostly because I'm too busy / lazy. Pick whatever one you want. It's a lot of work. How many are you going to have multiple 64 brackets? How are you guys doing this?
Looking at PC Mike, he's our bracket guy.
Oh, you got a bracket guy. See, that helps already.
I have a bracket guy. Use the internet. No, I don't know I don't even know if it'll be 64 because we want to do Twitter votes.
Yeah, we want to run a lot of it poll based. Maybe do 32, 16, maybe. I don't know, something manageable. Definitely a pre-tournament's going to be involved.
And I think 32 is the sweet spot with 8 in each bracket, and that's easy to go through and kind of get through that way.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Imran, you guys will have to send us your picks. Like, we'll give you some more guidance. Watch our website for updates on this and our social media. We will keep you apprised of how it'll work when the tweets go out, when we'll do the polls, but use that hashtag Mostly Madness, and we will get you going with the movie tournament. Got something new every day. The schedule's at mostlysuperheroes.com. Let's go around the table, and let's start with PC Mike. Any final thoughts? Did you have fun today? And give us that optimism you always leave us with, of course.
And it was nice to get some different viewpoints in here, talking with you two idiots all the time. It's nice to hear somebody else bring in some flavor and some different stuff. So it was a fun episode. I like seeing other points of view. And, I mean, we got a lot more stuff talking about. And hopefully this isn't a one-off thing and we get to see you more.
Giggler, did you have a good time today?
Oh yeah, first day in the new studio here. I'm gonna decorate a little bit. Maybe someday look as cool as Logan's. We'll see what my wife thinks about that, but we'll see what I can get away with. But yeah, like Mike said, it was nice to have an extra set of eyes, ears, and an extra voice on the podcast today to talk all this bullshit with us. And definitely, I like your shirt, Imran. I think Logan, you need to work on some for us so we can rep. If I had a Mostly Superhero shirt, I would probably be wearing it just about every day.
Well, now you've convinced me. We're gonna do it. Watch for swag coming from the show. Imran, I actually bought one. I bought one just a couple days ago.
Oh, get out! Thank you.
Well, it's for me, man. I'm gonna be nerding out wearing that thing. You got the new logo.
I don't even have the new logo yet, but TeePublic makes it really easy. No overhead to set up a shop and one design. And it goes, you could buy a t-shirt to a sticker to a tumbler, whatever. One design, it's all there. It's very nice.
Well, I know you guys have great stuff, so I'm definitely going to be checking them out. This is opportune marketing for them because I'm a guy in need. So, Imran, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was so much fun to have somebody I've been listening to for years on my own podcast to hear your voice and see you today. I appreciate you being on video. You guys do audio over there at Jock and Nerd. Did you have a good time today? Would you come back and definitely plug the hell out of your show?
Dude, I had a great time. You guys have a great passion, and clearly we talk about the same things. Thank you for the nice comments about, nice to hear somebody else's opinion, because that's not what my co-hosts tell me every week. So it's nice to hear that once in a while instead of shut up, Imran. So anyways, I definitely come back because you guys near and dear to my heart, everything you guys are talking about. I love it. And check out jockandnerd.com. Comes out every week, coming out every Wednesday. If you like the show, we have Anthony and Rugboy are into Godzilla. They're like Godzilla experts, and we all have our own kind of speciality. So a lot of fun stuff there. And then the other show I mentioned, danceofjoypod.com. It's called Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast. If you want to learn more about sitcoms after, I don't know why anybody listens to that one, but they do. That's just for fun for me and my sister to talk about old Perfect Strangers show and be like, why did he do that? That's weird.
No, you know what your show, that show exactly is kind of my whole philosophy and belief on podcasts, and why they're so good is that you get somebody doing just a very niche thing that they really love. Nice. They know a lot about, they can talk about, and then there are people out there that this are like, okay, you could be talking about woodworking, and if you know a lot about it and you're passionate about it, I'll probably watch or listen to you.
Sometimes the nichier is the better, because that audience will find you, and I'm finding that out. It's wild. So I started that second one to do something completely different. Jock and Nerd is we swear, where it's long, it's all over the place. This one, the Dance of Joy, we're trying to keep it shorter. We're trying to keep it clean, a little bit family friendly, and I just wanted to see what would happen if I just pivot with a different show. It's been a lot of fun though.
Well, I've no doubt that it's a good time and a lot of fun, just like the Jock and Nerd podcast is. Get over and check out their show, guys, and give it a listen. Give them a subscribe. We'll definitely have you back. Tell Rug Boy and Anthony they're up next.
They're next. I'll send them a thing. Rug Boy will come on.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm going to make him do it.
Well, we can figure it out, too. Because I know
you may be the first show he's ever guested on, because we do not lend him out to anybody.
Oh, I appreciate it then. I feel honored.
It's gonna be great. I want to hear him on another show where I'm not there. Like, I can't wait to hear that.
I just can't wait till I'm proud enough to have PC Mike and the Giggler on other shows too, and doing their.
Yeah, you guys are welcome all the time, anytime, of course. You had a great time. So
I did.
Crossover is great, and you got to support independent podcasts. We got to support each other.
Yeah, the idea of a crossover episode sounds like super fun to me. Where like it's like we get all like it's we get 6 of us, and we have like a big topic or something that we're just doing roundtable discussion type stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun.
That's not bad. You can put in both feeds. We've done that in the past where we'll record our show and then we'll turn around and record the guest show. And like now you come away the night, you got 2 shows.
Count us in.
Yeah.
Well, fans, hope you had a good time today. All about the MCU here lately, but we're going to keep you apprised of what happens with DC, HBO Max. The Steiner Cut is still coming. We're going to keep talking about it. I think it's the next thing docked up, and we'll keep you posted on what we're watching. Be sure to subscribe and give us a like. We appreciate you so much. Again, without you guys, there is no show, and you can find all the great stuff. You guys, thanks so much. Appreciate your time today. The fellas, Imran, the Giggler, PC Mike, and we'll see you next time on Mostly Superheroes. Take it easy.